How's it going, folks? This is Least. We're back with Stromkarlen and Cold Warp Gates on the production. This is our 14th Apocalypse show match. We've got a good one for you here today. We've got ArtOfTurtle, our Zerg player reppin' Operation Indecision, versus BenElton, a Protoss player reppin' the Passion Daddies. And once again, we've got both return players, so we're really excited to see what they can put on the second time.
If this is your first time tuning in to one of these matches, I'm not sure where you came from, but for your information, this is a show match series brought to you by CPL. It is based on the Korean End of the World series in honor of the apocalypse. And here we live cast and observe these best of nines. So we play all 9 games, no matter what the score is. And then the map pool that we use is all 8 CPL maps plus the ladder map Escalade. And I set the map order in advance, so it's not loser picks or anything. The players find out the map order about 2 hours before the matches, unless I'm incompetent. But I wasn't incompetent today, so they actually knew the map order. Series like this give our players a chance to do series prep. We generally keep it to tier 1 and tier 0 players, and it kind of allows our CPL players to get a chance to play a series that's longer than a best of 3 and really work on each CPL map in the map pool and prepare it for a specific matchup.
And if you're new here, you're wondering what CPL is, you're just like, I just like watching StarCraft. CPL, the Coach Pupil League, is a titan in the foreign scene for new players. If you want to improve, you're below like 2,000, there is a place for you here. We've got plenty of great coaches, some that are even above 2,000. Some of the best players in the foreign scene are willing to coach. If you are not familiar with CPL, season's just about to end, but I'm going to go ahead and link the Discord anyway so you can keep up on what's happening and prepare for Season 6.
All right, guys. And if you enjoy this cast and other CPL events, be sure to check out our Google Calendar. I keep this updated myself, and I do a lot of the extra content, like the additional content producing for CPL, as I am on the admin team. The Google Calendar will tell you when the official streams are for CPL. It will also provide a link to the Twitch channel that they're on, as well as a description of the event and a list of the personnel involved. So be sure to check that out. It's pinned to the general chat in the CPL Discord, and Least is going to go ahead and link it in the Twitch chat right now. But just for your information, some events, exciting events coming up that you should be sure to tune in for. We do have today, after this cast, the match of the week, which is regular CPL League games, casted by Sat0 and usually Nablime on the CPL Twitch channel. And that is going to be, that's at 6 p.m. EDT, and that cast happens every week. So that's our kind of like regularly scheduled CPL match, and they pick kind of some exciting games from the week of CPL. So definitely tune into that. It's a great time to hang out in the Twitch chat and get to know the community, as well as meet our casting coordinators, Nablime and Sat0. The next Apocalypse match, I think we're going to be taking a little bit of a break. We might schedule one before this, but the next one that I have scheduled is on Thursday the 28th. And it's going to be, we're going to have Mars back on here, and he's going to be up against IRK's MWK. So a tier 0 TVP. I believe we scheduled that for 1 p.m. EDT. So that's Thursday the 28th. That'll be right on this Twitch channel. It's not on the Google Calendar yet, but I will add that probably tonight. Also on Monday, we have a masterclass. So for those of you guys who didn't tune into any of our previous masterclasses, it is a kind of a public coaching session, public lesson. There'll be 3 Zerg players playing, and the master teacher is going to be Hawk. So that's Monday, 8:30 p.m. EDT, and that's going to be on the Coach Pupil League Twitch as well, because Sat0 is going to be hosting that for us. If you didn't check out the previous masterclasses, by the way, there is 2 Protoss ones, one by Master Ray and one by Models that just happened yesterday. Both are great. really, really worth a watch. Especially Models did a very long masterclass and was very thorough with lots of live coaching. So definitely, if you're a Protoss player, check those out. And the Cryok masterclass that we had some technical difficulties when we were streaming is now spliced together and put up on our YouTube channel. So I'll try and link that on the break in the chat. And I said I would put an announcement up about it for CPL. So I'll be doing that at some point this week as well. Also, on Monday, we have the return of the Eradication Games. That's going to be at 2 p.m. EDT again. So I'm going to cast that once more, but this time with IRK's father. So it'll be a Zerg Terran cast of those Eradication Games. Of course, this event is brought to you by DM Keen, one of the assistant coaches on Samyang Fire. So there will be an announcement going up in the CPL Discord about signups. But if you want to play in those Eradication Games, consider yourself lucky that you tuned in right now, because you have a head start on a chance to DM Keen on Discord and get put in the lineup for that event. Also, I'm happy to announce that I've set up another Tier 2 Apocalypse match. It is a TVP. I'm not going to announce the details just quite yet, but stay tuned for that. So that'll be another Tier 2 Apocalypse match with a coaching stream.
And as always, we want to give a big shout out to BSL, the Bombastic Star League, one of the top premier foreign tournaments. If you want to see some high quality non-Korean play, tune into that. I'm going to link that in Twitch, and STPL as well. Another top tier foreign league. It actually includes some Koreans, but a lot of really good foreign teams as well.
All right, guys. Just again, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and for your support for CPL. Of course, be sure to stick around in the Discord and stuff for next season. Hopefully there won't be as big of a break between season 5 and season 6 this time. We have a lot of people on the admin team now, so we're able to get things out a little bit faster. We are working on a couple projects right now. One of them is a website for CPL, and the other one is we're going to try and get some form of advertisement, so like sponsoring Artosis or getting CPL on the Pylon show in a little bit more of a spotlight situation before next season. So if you are interested in seeing that happen for CPL, CPL does have a Ko-fi, and all the money that goes to the Ko-fi we will be putting back into the league through the website and through the sponsorship are the two goals right now. Shout out to Awordy, IRK's Ashen, and Scion, who are working on the website right now. They're doing a really great job, and I'm excited for you guys to see the results of their effort next season.
And there's no pre-interview today. We've got both players just locked in. They're not able to they're so zoned in that they're not able to answer questions right now. So we're just going to get right into the Apocalypse match, AOT versus BenElton.
All right. I think our first map is going to be Eddie. Like I said, I set these map orders, but it's always a surprise to me when the maps start.
It's a good one. Good one to start out with. Big macro game.
Big macro map. Big macro game. All right, we do have our Zerg player, Ash.ArtOfTurtle, in the upper right, in the green. And we have our Protoss player, BenElton, in the bottom left, in the white. Both from Ash Clan, but ArtOfTurtle, assistant coach on Operation and Decision and a Tier 0 Zerg. And BenElton, a Protoss player on Tier 0 Passion Daddies.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't AOT actually request this match?
That is correct. ArtOfTurtle requested this opponent. So
right.
I hope it goes well for him. Yeah, I feel like I owed him a favor. He's helped me a lot with Zerg. So I went ahead and set up this Apocalypse match for him. I hope it goes well. I think he has a losing record against BenElton. So, but he's also been doing really well lately. He's made it to the round of 8 for BSL 9 Chobo League. So he's had ArtOfTurtle definitely bringing some results lately, but hoping that he can bring the wins here against his teammate today. I've watched too many Zerg players lose recently, so I'm definitely rooting for ArtOfTurtle.
I might be biased, but I'm actually rooting for a 27-0 Zerg fight.
Yeah,
That might just be me though. No, I'm just playing.
The next matches I'm setting up are going to be only tier 0 Zergs against tier 2 players.
We got to get some high quality Zerg play against some subpar.
I just want to see Zerg players beating up everyone else. I gotta see it. Let's just move. Zerg has a bad win rate. Let's just move all Zerg players down a tier.
That's clearly
the only response.
There's nothing else we can do about it.
Yeah.
There's really not a chance.
Yeah, exactly. And we never get to play ZVZ anyways because there's so few Zerg players.
Chess Z. So I'm kind of a Zerg player. Can I get moved down too? Yeah, but it's all you. It's all you.
All right. So I guess a little bit about these two players. Like I said, ArtOfTurtle's had a lot of success. He's kind of an old school player as far as Brood War players go. I don't think he doesn't play super modern. Like he's been working with Crossy, and I know he has Crossy's builds, but I think he's used to playing a lot more on intuition and late game rather than really sharp build timings. So, kind of what I expect to see is that, like, I don't know that BenElton's timings are super sharp either, but I think that his build order in the beginning can be a little bit rough, but I think that once he hits late game, we're really going to see his kind of like intuitive late game Zerg play shine. Because like, I don't know, I was checking, he was streaming ladder in the Operation Indecision channels this morning, and his ladder count's at like 1850. So he's very good. He's very, very good. But I think that like really sharp timings, especially like in early game, can kill him. So I think really a lot of this is going to depend on how early game goes for him.
Right. Makes sense. That's actually kind of surprising. I thought that AOT was like 1700, but he's significantly better than I originally thought. So I'm excited to see how this goes for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's been doing, like I said, he's been doing very well recently. Looks like we're opening with, I'm not sure. This looks like this is just 4 hatch and then gas. So probably a heavy Hydric build in the mid game.
Looks like it. And I actually think unless BenElton responds by going 4-gate or something other than +1/+1, this is actually a really strong build against +1/+1 in particular. So
right.
See how BenElton reacts.
Yeah, and he definitely he scouted it with a probe. It looks like he's sending a zealot across the map right now, so just to force some more Zerglings. But and I guess the other thing is that if you're doing a build like this, you know Zerg doesn't have speed yet because their gas is really late. So there is kind of that as well, that kind of plus to sending a zealot out on the map. We're just getting layer now. But I feel like, what is it, like Sauron Zerg was the style where you just like get a huge ground army and upgrades and just like fight? Man, are you watching the Twitch chat instead of the game again?
No, I would never do that. I don't know what you're talking about. But it does look like he's going to go for just a standard.
Can I have a trash emote in the chat, please? And at least don't check and see if it's there. We need to get rid of your other monitor, man. It's not good.
I'll send you my other monitor, and then one of us can be watching the chat, but not irresponsibly so.
Yeah, I feel like that's the play here.
Definitely the second monitor. That's the problem.
Yeah. You don't have a good enough attention. You don't have a good enough attention span to deal with that.
All right. So this is interesting that he just goes into Spire after this.
Well, it's just kind of like, it's an economic build. You do need Spire eventually as Zerg. But he's going to defend the first Corsair with Hydras. And then go into a ground army with some Scourge. I guess is the plan. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen him do this build before. Looks like he's going to
mixing things up to start out with. Excited to see that.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, we did have him on. This is kind of the opposite of the last show match that we had on here, because both George and Dragoon had won their previous show matches, but ArtOfTurtle and BenElton both lost their previous show matches. So BenElton's show match was a PvZ. It was up against Little Chava, aka DM Keen. But ArtOfTurtle actually played a ZVT against Father and lost that right at the beginning. That was actually our first Apocalypse match ever. Was ArtOfTurtle against Father. So this is a different matchup for him. And hopefully he can do a little bit better. Father, of course, very good TVZ player. Hasn't lost. We've had him on here twice, and he hasn't lost a TVZ. So, I mean, he's lost games, but he didn't lose either of his matches. Is what I mean.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, not that many. It doesn't seem like there's that many Hydras unless we see the third base, and there's a lot right there. I'm kind of surprised that he decided to go for 4 hatches before gas.
I mean, he's just droning. This is Drone Man.
This is
right now.
Absolutely Drone Man. But then the question is, does he get punished super hard by... He's going Mutalisks?
Yeah, I guess he's going Muta. Definitely good against Zealots. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and drive them back a little bit. He can chase these around the map, and I think that BenElton skipped further Corsairs because of the build he scouted. So this seems like it's a little bit of a mind game from Zerg, because he did put that Spire up as soon as the scout died in the main. The problem with this, though, is that he hasn't built a single sunk. Usually when you go mutas, you actually need a sunk at each base against the Zealots, because mutas kill Zealots very slowly. But looks like he's going to go into some Hydras from this. And he's going to lose some drones. But hopefully be able to clean this up and get into the late game. Or mid game, at least. This is kind of what I mean. Is like the early Zealot move outs seem to be a little bit more difficult for him to deal with. But I mean, the other part of this is, like, I think he lost like 4 or 5 drones. But BenElton just hemorrhaged all of his units.
Right, exactly. And even if you're going for a standard Hydra build, I feel like if you're willing to sacrifice the Zealots, you're going to get a few drones. It's just a fact of life, unless the opponent is just insane.
Right, and this Dark Archon, in my opinion, actually isn't a good choice, because it's too late. Like, Maelstrom is too late to deal with this. I think you actually want to morph an Archon here.
Oh my gosh.
Those storms are sick, though. Those mutas are hurt.
They're super, super hurt. We already lost 1, and the rest of them are in the blue, so it's going to be a while before he's able to harass with the Mutalisks. I thought he was in a really good position right after he held the Zealot attacks, because like you said, he BenElton hemorrhaged a lot of units, and AOT just had so many drones anyways that it felt like it was good for him. But after that storm, that kind of changes. That kind of changes everything. Now he doesn't really have that much army presence other than these small group of Hydras.
The thing is, though, is that the mutas will heal a little bit, and BenElton didn't really have enough units to even push out against the Hydras at that point. So it depends. ArtOfTurtle's going to try and take a 4th base, and it really depends on how this like Hydra versus Zealot army goes. Okay, does get the Maelstrom, but not really a good... Because I think it's going to wear off before he can... only just manages to get it.
So sick.
Alright, we do have a lot of Zealots on the map. Yeah. ArtOfTurtle very low in supply now. It does have a lot of Hydras on the map, but of course, lots of Speed Zealots. Difficult to deal with only Hydras. He did start a 4th base. But if he can't defend the Zealot push, he's going to have a hard time dealing with it. He does have a lot of Hydras, though. So it depends on how this engagement goes.
Yeah, this is a lot of Hydras and not that much Storm. Pretty much all the Storm was used up trying to deal with those Mutalisks.
Right. Yeah, he definitely used a lot of Storm, and he lost a Templar as well. All right, this is Zealot, man. We see Protoss just kind of like running his Zealots around. Are you checking the Twitch chat again?
Okay, in my defense, I have been very good for the last 40 minutes.
30 seconds?
No. Yeah. He's trying to get this one Overlord, but he's going to lose all his Corsairs in the process. Totally not worth as a Protoss player trading friggin' 600, 400 for one Overlord.
Yeah, it's going to supply block ArtOfTurtle, but like you said, not really worth it. The one thing that I think that BenElton made a little bit of a mistake is he doesn't have very good map vision right now. So he wasn't able to scout Zerg's 4th base, and he probably, had he gone in that direction, could have denied that with the Zealots that he moved across the map earlier. All right.
This is getting to the point in the game where Protoss just has a super scary army. You can see the Zealot Goon Templar composition just kind of running over pure Hydralisk. And he really needs some lurkers, I feel like, to try and help deal with this, beef up his army a little bit.
Yeah, lurkers would definitely be helpful. Protoss has lost all his Zealots, but the supply is very good right now for Protoss. And unless ArtOfTurtle can macro out a whole bunch of Hydras right now, he's going to have a lot of trouble stopping this army. There's just not enough units for Zerg right now.
This Dark Archon
scouting Dark Archon.
Cracking me up. Honestly, I don't know. Like you said, he ran out of Zealots, and there's not that many Dragoons left, but ArtOfTurtle just really doesn't have any army. So it's going to be really tough for him to clean this up. Right.
I think that actually might be game right here. He's just like, he's on top of the rally for Zerg, and he's almost doubled them up in supply now, so... and BenElton's still macroing fairly well behind this. He did have a lot of money banked at one point, but right now he's spending it. All right, GG is called by ArtOfTurtle. Rough first game for our Zerg player.
That mid-game transition where Protoss starts to take the power is really tough for Zergs to deal with.
Right. I think the one thing also, like, you saw that ArtOfTurtle was banking a ton of gas at the end of the game. So he either needed to get Lurker Tech out, like you were saying, and Turtle, or he needed to go 9 mutas again and get rid of all the Storm. Like, you can't beat that army with just Hydras unless you have way more Hydras than that. So you do need a tech unit to come out.
Yeah, something after that Zealot Goon Templar army comes out, you cannot just have pure Hydra. It's just going to melt. There's too much DPS with the Zealots attacking you melee and the Dragoons attacking you from range.
Right, and like Hydras are super micro intensive. Like if you're trying to micro them against Storm and against Zealots, it gets really tricky. So you really need like mutas or lurkers, and I feel like lurkers are just the easier option once they start getting that many Zealots.
Right. Yeah.
Right. All right. Looks like our next map is going to be Bloody Ridge. I do say this again, like I didn't choose the map order, but you know, I do stuff and then forget it immediately. So
I really don't like this map, which is why I put it in here for Zerg players. Apparently, we should just start blaming the rough Zerg performance on the map pool. It's clearly Terran Protoss favored.
I mean, it kind of is, but hopefully we can fix that next season. All right, so we do have our Zerg player ArtOfTurtle in the upper right, currently down 0-1, and our Protoss player BenElton in the bottom left. It is kind of rough for Zerg though. Like, there's only two 3-player maps, and Tau Cross is like really weird, and you can do like a block at the choke, which makes it really difficult for Zerg. And also, like, Sylphid is pretty balanced as far as 3-player maps go. And then we also have like just a ton of 2-player maps.
Right, for sure. And 2-player maps, of course, not very strong for Zerg. Zerg is really... The advantage of Zerg is their mobility and their ability to take a lot of expansions compared to the other races. And 2-player maps are just so small that it's very difficult to take full advantage of that.
Right. I mean, some of them are okay, and there's definitely like advantages that you can use on those maps. But I don't know. I just feel like we have so many 2-player maps this season. And also we have like Fighting Spirit instead of Circuit Breakers, and Circuit Breakers is a Zerg map, and Fighting Spirit is not. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to try and get Circuit Breakers back in the map pool next season and not have Fighting Spirit. We'll do like an alternating thing. I also really want to see Polypoid. I want to put Polypoid.
That would be good.
I feel like
I think that's a super interesting map. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I think I want to put Aztec back in as well. I think Aztec's is a good 3-player map to have with Sylphid. And it's like less weird than Taucross. Taucross is just very old school. I feel like we're not going to see that in anything else ever. So
agreed. Taucross, like, I kind of like it just because it's a fun map to mix in, but it's it's definitely not something that you're going to see a lot. And BenElton going for gate first. He's going to put on some early pressure here as opposed to the forge first that he went for last time. Let's see what happens.
He did also manage to force ArtOfTurtle to take the second hatchery at the third base, which is always nice against gate expand, because for one, you delay the production of having 2-hatch production of lings, and for 2, it's just everything's further away to defend, right?
Right, yeah. We got lings coming in hot versus couple zealots. This is interesting. BenElton's doing the thing where you just you go gate expand, force some lings, but then just stay home instead of pressuring out. I've seen it a couple times, but obviously much more popular to actually go try and kill some drones, try and put active pressure on the Zerg.
Right. I mean, he did... ArtOfTurtle did scout it very quickly, and looks like he's building a lot of lings. We'll have to see if the probe scouts this. I think it was very brave of him to go Nexus first against this many Zerglings that are being built. But ArtOfTurtle definitely looking to put pressure on Protoss with these lings.
Yeah, and this is the toughest part of gate expand, is when there's a lot of lings trying to bust down your wall, and he doesn't even have a cannon started yet. The forge wasn't even finished by the time these lings started to attack the gateway.
Right. Okay, we do see him pulling more probes. Definitely has to be scared of these lings right now, is BenElton. Alright, I think ArtOfTurtle is droning up now. That's kind of what it looks like to me. But definitely wanting Protoss to be scared of a ling all-in, which I think is very good. Because he lost his probe on the map, so he's really in the dark of what Zerg is up to right now. So just kind of like threatening more lings, I think is really good for Zerg here. Yeah. Of course, he can still do a ling all-in if he wants to. There's only one cannon. And Protoss is blind right now, so we'll have to see what he chooses. It does look like he's droning up to me, though. And looks like he's getting lair instead of speed, so... Going into a standard game from here.
Yeah, I really like that play from ArtOfTurtle. Like, if it was me, I probably would have opted for that second cannon. And just droning up behind that, there's nothing wrong with that at all. He only made, what was it, like, how many Zerglings did he make? Like 12, 14, 16?
I think he made like 10.
I'm notoriously bad at counting Zerglings, but like, yeah, he barely.
He didn't
against gate expand. He did not make enough that his economy is going to be severely hurt. Gets a nice little surround, but these zealots are in the choke, and not every single Zergling is fighting, so it's going to get cleaned up.
All right, looks like we do have a miss rally from ArtOfTurtle with these drones coming across the map. Hopefully, he can turn them around soon, because this is always painful. It's a lot of lost mining time for Zerg. Looks like BenElton going to go around, so hopefully Zerg has started more Zerglings, because he kind of hemorrhaged a lot of Lings there. It wasn't a very good engagement from Zerg.
Yeah, I really thought at the beginning, like...
He just didn't run away. He needed to run away.
Right. He just didn't have enough units. He had a decent concave, but like you said, it was like 8 Lings versus like 4 Zealots. And this is going to be really rough to try and bust up this ramp.
All right, he is able to do a drone drill. That was a nice play by BenElton, though, splitting his Zealots up like that. All right, and lots of Lings on the map. Hopefully, BenElton adds another cannon, because if he doesn't, I think he could be in trouble. All right, coming up to add another cannon. You see a Zergling count that high, you have to be scared of a lot of Lings. And with 2 more cannons coming down and speedlings, but we also have a Spire on the way, so I think that Zerg is just droning again behind this. He did force a lot of Lings, though, and he only lost 4 Zealots, so I feel like that trade was favorable for Protoss.
Yeah, I actually really liked how he handled this early game. Even though he didn't put on that much early pressure with the gate expand, he had very fast Zealots to the point where you have to respond with Zerglings. There's no way you can get Hydralisks in time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of that sense that, like, if you move across the map with Zealots, you want to force enough... Like, if you're going to lose the Zealots, you have to force more Lings than they actually needed to make.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a bad trade for you. Otherwise, Zerg can just kill your Zealots and then build more drones than they could originally. So it's kind of like, it can be even, but I think it's like really easy to be, especially with like being able to drone drill. I feel like it's really easy to have a favorable trade for Zerg, but ArtOfTurtle did kind of overmake Lings there. So I think that was actually okay for Protoss. He did, however, have to respond by throwing down 2 more cannons. So, I don't know. He definitely is safe from a Ling all-in now. But ArtOfTurtle is droning, so.
I'm not so sure. I might just be crazy. And I probably am just crazy.
I mean, you are crazy, but like, please continue.
After watching the series a couple days ago, yesterday, whenever it was, I don't know how I feel about over making cannons anymore. I used to be like, dude, if you make 1 too many cannon, you immediately lose to Zerg. And then I saw a game where he just put down like 5 cannons. And I was like, okay.
Well, it's kind of that thing that's like, if Zerg decides to make units and you made cannons, you are so far ahead.
Right.
Yeah. All right, ArtOfTurtle droned so hard behind losing those, behind Protoss losing those Zealots, by the way. Like, that was really good. He got so many, he's drone man. You check out the saturation on these bases. Like, I'm not sure what his saturation is like in his main, but like, he has a lot of drones. Okay, he's low on drones in his main. So that might explain it. I'm like looking at his NAD and his third, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this man. He has so many drones. Drone man. So many
drones. Zerg and their drones, man, I swear. We do see a push out with Speed Zealots for BenElton. Gonna see how much damage he can get done with this. It looks like there's quite a few Hydralisks, so I believe he should be able to hold no problem. Yeah, BenElton immediately retreats.
Right, and that actually... really nice. Just want to point out this play from ArtOfTurtle. He has the Scourge following the Zealots so that he knows where they are. You can just like move. If you move command the Scourge, so you have to like move command and then right click on the Zealots, then the Scourge will just follow them around and you just always have vision of the Zealots. It's really good.
Yeah, that actually would seem... That just seems like such a big brain play. Oh, nice. Taking out one of these Templars. And only losing one Hydralisk in exchange. BenElton going for a relatively fast third. Do I see a 4th going down? Yes, I do.
All right, gets another Templar. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of like, he lost 2 Templar. He's kind of like lost... Protoss has lost their push potential now. And Zerg is taking a 4th base. So I feel like in this situation, Zerg can just drone now. So if he's droning behind this, I think he'll be in a really good position. Of course, we did see that Scourge scouted the 3rd base for BenElton. Because he's taking a 4th base right now, he doesn't need to deny this. He can just let it happen. It's not like a super early, greedy 3rd base from Protoss.
Yeah, it seems just about the time you'd normally expect. But with the 1 ramp and no other entrances to it, it seems like it'd be pretty hard to deny anyways. Like, it's bad enough on Fighting Spirit when there's 2 ramps, but one of them is hidden behind a bridge that you're never going to get past.
Right.
Similar story here.
Right, we do see that ArtOfTurtle is supply blocked right now. Okay, just had some overlords hatch. I'm just like, I hope he droned. Because if he didn't drone, I think he's going to be in trouble. If you just take a look at his supply, he's very behind in supply.
Right, yeah. He's got quite a bit of gas banked up. Do you think he is headed for a possible lurker transition where he starts to play that defensive style? Or do you think this is a bad map for that kind of thing?
I think he should play that style. I don't know if he's going to or not. Like, I can't read his mind, but like, I think lurkers are definitely the play right now. He just keeps pulling hydras though. Like, I think he missed his droning window. You know, so I think his economy is in trouble, and I think Protoss his economy is doing really well.
Yeah, 3 base for Protoss becomes infinitely more scary than 2 base Protoss. You really have. You can see he's up to like 12 gateways, which is just about where you want to be at on 3 bases. A lot of army potential. Oh my god, that is so many lurkers.
That is a lot of lurkers. Okay, he needs to burrow them though, because right now he's just losing them for free. Okay, I definitely like this counterattack. I think it's really strong. He does have to basically bust here, because if he doesn't bust, he's just going to be in a lot of trouble because he's losing his 4th base. Definitely very strong counterattack though. This kind of explains the lack of droning, because he was just building units. If he doesn't have anything at home though, he still could be in a rough position. And he needs to kind of rally hydras. Yeah, he really doesn't have any units at home. Like, this is good. This is nice from Zerg. It's nice to have Protoss's natural siege, but like, Protoss is fine on 2 bases.
Yeah, and it's not like he's ever going to be able to get on top of the production with the amount of units that he has left. So it kind of goes back to 2 base versus 3, and if Protoss is able to take out this 3rd Zerg base, it becomes pretty scary for Zerg once this counterattack gets cleaned up.
Right, and if you just kind of look at the supply, it really tells the story here. Like, BenElton's floating a lot of money, and he still has like almost double the supply of Zerg. So, I mean, this was a nice counterattack, but he didn't have enough units. If he was planning on doing this, he really should have. He had a group of hydras at the bottom right at his 4th base. He was never going to hold that 4th base if he was doing a counterattack. So, in my opinion, he should have had those hydras with the counterattack at the natural if that's what he was planning on doing. And then he could have probably actually punished Protoss for being out of position. On the other hand, I don't know that this is the best map for that strategy anyhow, because as you kind of saw when he was moving into the choke, because he had the 3rd base already, there's cannons on the high ground that can hit your army as you're counterattacking, and that's just free damage for Protoss.
True. Yeah, there was a lot. That just, like you said, it seems like a tough position to try and make a counterattack work with the high ground pretty much everywhere. Yeah, we do see ArtOfTurtle tap out again. 2-0 for BenElton.
Alright. And I think our next map is going to be Tau Cross, if I remember correctly.
The stress levels of Strom are going
Look,
through the roof right now.
This match is not a match that I set up.
This is a requested match for sure.
This is a requested match. I cannot be blamed for this result.
I really wish the match fixing allegations in chat would calm down, guys. Don't worry about it. It's not her.
Yeah, this one's not my bet. This match was requested.
Still a good time. Still gonna enjoy this match, and I feel like I believe in AOT. He's gonna pull out. He's gonna pull out some.
Yeah, I think he can definitely take some games. Like those, I think he had good ideas in both those games. He just kind of missed the execution a little bit. Like I was saying, I don't know that the counterattack, like I really like the plan to counterattack. It really looked like that's what he was planning on doing. But I think he just executed it a little bit poorly. Like I said, he just had some units in bottom right. And if you're planning on abandoning your base, like don't leave units there because they're just going to die. And then your counterattack has less potential.
Right.
And also it just seems like a rough map for that strategy anyways, because like I said, the high ground cannons from the third base of Protoss can actually hit your army as you're coming in with your counterattack into the choke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Tau Cross. No fun for Zerg, I've been told.
Really?
That's what you said, isn't it? Or is that just ZVT?
No, I said like you can block the entrance.
Yeah.
But I mean if you don't choose to do that, I feel like it's fine. No high ground. And there's definitely that like ledge over your natural that can be annoying. Looks like we have both players in the game, by the way. But gosh, I don't know. It is a 3-player map, so it's nice for Zerg in this matchup. But it's like not as Zerg favored as a 3-player map could be, I think.
Okay. That makes sense.
Would you like to do the honors?
Always. I've got the yellow Zerg ArtOfTurtle in the top right corner. And in the 5 o'clock position, we have our navy blue Protoss player, BenElton.
Very nice. I think you did an excellent job.
I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you. One of the best of all time at introducing players.
Exactly.
Giving me a compliment like that.
I'm a pro. I'm sure just everyone wants to cast with me. You're so lucky that I like casting with you.
Yeah, I really, honestly, I would have never gotten above 10 viewers on my casts if it wasn't for having Strom on my cast. So we got to give credit where credit's due.
Hey, you know what? I think we make a good team.
I appreciate it. I'm really going to have to take some notes. Just going back to the game here, I'm going to have to take some notes on how BenElton walls off on this map, because I really have no idea how walls even work with these. So, like, these...
Oh, I thought you were just going to stop talking. I have no idea how walls even work.
Shut up. You're the worst. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I just said that we were a good team, so I had to throw in some insults.
Exactly. You gotta balance it out. You gotta balance.
It's necessary. You have to balance it out. You're right. Also, you're not paying attention again. You're watching the Twitch chat, so I have to roast you for it. I can tell. Your voice changes.
My voice.
You sound more distracted. You sound distracted.
You could have roasted me while I was talking. Like when I made the Tau Cross not good for Zerg transition, that was definitely me being distracted by Twitch chat. But
oh, for sure. I mean, you can tell. Right now, are you here with me?
I'm super zoned in.
Are you?
Even at me. Yeah.
What is Protoss doing?
Protoss is going Forge Fast Expand.
Hey, what did Zerg do?
Zerg went Overpool.
Damn, guys.
Killing the game. Killing the game.
Caster here.
Don't at me.
All right. It does look like Zerg actually went overpool and is going 6 lings before he builds his expansion. So this is an aggressive play by ArtOfTurtle, and I actually think he might do very well with it because this wall looks kind of questionable without the gateway, and he went Nexus before cannon. So like I think he might just die.
That's the big thing for me. If they go 6 lings before expansion, I actually think he is pulling probes, so that's good. But if they go 6 lings before expansion, going Nexus first is extremely risky.
Yeah, and like this cannon... Oh, there's a hole on this side of the wall.
That's not ideal.
Alright, looks like he's just gonna run past. Gets 3 lings into the main. And I guess we'll have to see if ArtOfTurtle decides to commit on lings, or if he's just going to keep harassing with these lings in his main. I definitely like this play. I feel a little bad that the lings couldn't just get on top of the cannon and win the game, because I feel like Protoss is getting away with murder.
I still think if he just, like... If he just made Zerglings right now, yeah, I know. But if he did just, like, the probes are no longer pulled. There's still only 1 cannon. It's easy to say. Like, I feel like as a Protoss player, I'm always worried about Ling all-ins. Until I have Zealots blocking the wall fully.
Right.
But
I mean, that's the thing too, right? Like, even if you have, like, 1 or 2 Zealots, if you only have a cannon... and that wall is open on the left-hand side. Yeah. He's actually already gotten 3 probes, though. So I feel like these lings are doing really well.
Oh my gosh, they really are. It's actually, like, 3 probes, but counting the early ones that he got, it's a total of 6 now.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Alright, so we do have a Zealot in here harassing. Looks like ArtOfTurtle is going to go lair behind this. I need to take a 3rd base close to Protoss instead of the one at 12. So I'm a little bit curious whether he's going to pull something aggressive out with this hatchery that's kind of at a closer location.
Yeah, sure seems like it. Generally, you want to be as far away as possible from the Protoss player, considering you have the weaker army in absolute terms during the mid-game. But having this closer hatchery can be helpful for things like 3-hatch Hydra, where the rally is shorter. And like you said, just generally aggressive plays. He's getting so many probes right now.
He really is. I hope he noticed that Zealot.
But
I think Speed just finished. Oh my god.
These Zerglings are literally never going to die. It's not going to happen. We do have 1 Zealot over here. Killing 1 drone so far, but I just think the damage has been done. It feels like there's no way you can get as much economic damage that's equivalent to losing 8 probes, right? Unless you just absolutely don't react to the Zealot at all.
I mean, so far it looks like that's what's happening.
Oh my god.
Like, there's just literally no reaction. Like, he's just not building lings. I don't know what he's doing.
And the lings do get cleaned up.
Like, okay, he finally built some lings. The Zealot did so much more damage than it should have done, though. Like, it forced so much lost mining time, and it also got 4 kills. Like, that was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that was definitely...
But I mean, like you said, the lings in Protoss's base also got a ton of damage done, so... Like, how many probes did they get? They must have got, like, 10 probes. At least.
At least 8 was... I'm 100% sure it was at least 8, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 10 or more at all. Like, we weren't looking for the past. We've got a couple wings trying to run in here, it looks like, but not going to be able to pull much off. Just 1 speedling with 2 health. And there's already a cannon up in the main. So... He can harass this pylon, but other than that, I don't think he's going to do much damage.
He does manage to get a scout off. So I guess that he Doesn't have to worry about Scourge. I hope he noticed these zealots on the map again, though, because like he threw away his lings again. So he just doesn't have any units to deal with these zealots.
And it looks like all his larvae are already preoccupied droning. So this is going to force a ton of lost mining time yet again. We've got mutas coming out.
Okay, the mutas will be able to clean up these zealots. He can probably turn around those drones now. Or not. Or he can not turn around the drones.
Yeah, why would you turn around the drones when you could just not turn around the drones, right?
Okay, it turns around the drones. Alright, so we do have 5 mutas on the way. Usually when Zerg does this build, the plan is to kind of contain Protoss a little bit with the mutas, and then go ahead and drone up behind that. So basically the whole deal with Zerg is that you want to buy time for droning. So it looks like he's going to force 2 cannons in each mineral line, or 2 cannons at 1 mineral line at least. So this is like, he doesn't have any Scourge with this, so it's not really a threat to the Corsairs yet. He really needs to just keep the mutas alive, because Protoss can't move out while there's 5 mutas on the map when he only has 2 Corsairs.
Right.
So just a little bit of a micro fight here. But I mean, the fact that he's forced cannons, and he was already ahead, and Protoss is going robo behind this, I feel like, man, if he can scout that it's robo with the mutas, I feel like you just have to win this as Zerg, right? Like, he's so far behind, and he's going for a very risky play.
Yeah,
Right.
I've never really seen... Well, I've actually seen it a surprising amount in the last few Apocalypse matches.
Yeah,
But,
the
like,
Reaver play, yeah.
Before that, no one goes Reaver play. And they're just pulling it out all over the place. I wonder what prompted him. I guess maybe he just, like, obviously there's always the chance that he just wanted to go Reaver play on this particular map. But maybe he's like, okay, if I'm gonna be forced to get a lot of Corsairs to deal with these mutas, maybe Corsair Reaver is not as big an investment as it otherwise would be.
Right. I did see somebody just asking in the Twitch chat, what is Coach Pupil League? I'm not sure if people are memeing at us or not, but if you're not memeing, Coach Pupil League is kind of the basis of the learning, like the foreign Brood War community that's not like the really top players. So it's basically the best place to be if you want to learn the game, learn how to play StarCraft, because we have lots of players from like 0 to 1900 MMR, kind of just hanging out, learning the game, and working with, we have some of the top foreign players every season volunteer to help coach in this league. And those coaches are able to kind of like work with the teams and work with the players and offer advice and help. And it's just generally a nice place to hang out. And this is a Showmatch series that's kind of brought to you by CPL. I'm a CPL admin or staff member, and Least helps out a lot with different various streams and stuff. So we are just kind of like casting a Showmatch for CPL. It's lots of fun. These players are both tier 0, so this is kind of like the best of CPL. And most of the other players are like around this level or lower, and we're able to get lots of help from coaches. And I think Least did you link the Discord in the chat? Is that what I just heard?
Yep, I just linked the Discord.
Yeah.
Also, though, imagine paying attention to Twitch chat when there's a game going on. Really
I checked the Twitch chat one time. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. I'm the worst.
It really...
Oh my goodness.
Oh
he knows. God. Well, he knows. So, where are the Hydras? Gosh.
Who needs Hydras when you could just... Oh, there they are. And
he's just gonna lose the Reaver.
Out of position, he's gonna lose the Reaver immediately, yeah.
Right. I think that BenElton kind of responded a little bit incorrectly to this. Like, when you go 5 mutas, I feel like you should you don't need to get that many Corsairs. Like you can just get your regular amount of Corsairs, but maybe it's like because it's Corsair Reaver. Like I don't know. It felt like he was so behind on Ground Army that this was like a difficult response. And ArtOfTurtle actually taking this opportunity, he wins a fight, so he's gonna drone and take a fourth. So that's like quintessential Zerg right there.
And I just think Corsair Reaver, not the greatest in general. Like, obviously it's not the greatest in general because it's not used much except for on island maps. But especially against the 5 Muta play as compared to like full-blown Muta. If he had 11 Mutalisks out and he was just doing his best to try and run you over, I can kind of see the merit. But like you said, with just 5 Mutas, you're not really forcing that many Sairs. And there's still an opportunity to go with a good amount of Hydras on the ground.
Right. And Hydra actually is kind of the response to, like, Sarah Reaver. Because the other thing you can do is get Burrow. Like, I was actually, because Dragoon actually used this play a lot in his match against George. And, oh, this is a lot of Zealots, though.
So
I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I can't use words. They're too hard for me.
You're good.
All right. This is a lot of Hydras, though. And this SimCity, not ideal. He is going to drop off some Zealots at the 4th and in the main. The Reaver in the main.
Reaver. How much damage can the Scarab do? None. Wow, feels bad, man. Feels bad. That's the most Reaver thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Just drop in there. There's nothing but drones. Still does 0 damage. Paid 15 minerals for that Scarab, by the way.
All right, does get 1 Hydra with the Scarab and 1 drone with the next Scarab. So I think the Reaver so far is worth it. Oh, okay. Lots of lurkers coming. Looks like ArtOfTurtle really likes his conga line lurkers.
He really does. And he's really enjoying trying to counterattack BenElton here.
Right. It's definitely difficult to bust a wall with a Reaver, though. Like, I don't know about this.
I guess we'll see. Oh my gosh, I thought those were Hydras for a second, and then I just actually looked at them and realized they were drones, and I was like, oh, never mind, this isn't scary at all.
All right, he is able to deny the 3rd base for Protoss, but there's a lot of... Oh, it's just Sairs. I was going to say there's a lot of Protoss in Zerg's main, but it's just a bunch of Sairs, so... All right, this shuttle looking very hurt, though. If it accidentally runs over a group of Hydralisks, he's going to be in trouble. Looks like there's some Zealots going back up to the 4th base. Definitely a lot happening on the map right now. BenElton throwing a lot of money, or floating a lot of money, and he does lose the shuttle. But he also is going to lose a lot of drones at this 4th base. He is droning behind this, and he did manage to deny the 3rd base for Protoss. So I feel like Zerg actually ahead in this game right now. And I think we can definitely see this in the fact that he's very, very close to in supply. And I think he might actually overtake Protoss in supply quickly. BenElton, of course, I think he was on too few gateways for a while as well because he's floating a ton of money.
Yeah, and just the fact that he's still on 2 base at 15 minutes into the game, that's always a bad sign for Protoss. If you're ever not... Like, if you've ever lost your 3rd base or failed to take your 3rd base by like 12 minutes, just throw down 8-9 gateways, pump out a bunch of units, and that's like your last gasp. Because otherwise, there's absolutely nothing you can do on 8 gate or 2 base past like 15 minutes.
Right. It looks like ArtOfTurtle is going to go ahead and set up a lurker contain here. I feel like this is a really good decision, as long as he's patient with it. He kind of should move the lurkers out from the 3rd. Because he doesn't really actually have enough units and they're not in a good position to deal with this. Okay, he does lose 2 Templars immediately. But he doesn't really have enough units here to deal with this contain, to be honest.
Yeah, and the only thing that seemed weird to me about this lurker contain move is the fact, like you said,
he got the observer.
He already has Reavers. The hardest part of dealing with the lurker contain is microing all your units well enough, but Reavers just take care of lurkers so easily. He is kind of throwing his zealots into lurkers. But
he gets the observer again.
That's so frustrating. That's the worst part of lurker contains by far. And we
went mutas.
Go back into mutas.
I actually really like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dragoons here for sure, but he's going to be able to pick off these reavers and these templars probably.
Oh, he just stormed his own reaver.
That's so unfortunate. And now it's just going to be pure zealot goon. Maybe one storm left. That's all of a sudden. This is looking so good for ArtOfTurtle. I was a little bit worried for him. Once this lurker contain got busted, he bought himself valuable time picking off those observers.
Right. I mean, this is kind of a half-hearted lurker contain anyways. He really doesn't have very many units here. But he did bust through a lot of that storm. He has a ton of hydras coming across the map right now.
Oh, dodge that storm. Okay. Decent storm, decent storm.
Decent storm, but there's just like not the support. And it's all goons left against hydras. And there is one lurker in the back. He should definitely move it forward. He also forgot about his lurkers at the third base. And if he had those units up here right now, I think that it would be a very commanding position for Zerg. Of course, in this situation, Protoss, like, I think he only has +1 upgrades. Oh, 2-1, never mind. I'm dumb.
No,
2-1 against 2-0.
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was on double forge. Yeah, where's the second forge, man? Oh, it's pretty hidden. It's pretty hidden. It's fine. But yeah, super challenging position for
those two lurkers. If those two lurkers had been in the lurker contain, he wouldn't have been able to bust out. Like, and he had those two lurkers that were just kind of like off to the side. Like, if he had all the lurkers in good position, I don't think that BenElton can ever break out of that.
Yeah, and even though he was able to bust out, it still feels like he's just so far behind economically. We see him taking his third base as AOT safely as taking his fifth base. And AOT has map control, so it's not like he's in any danger of losing this fifth base he's about to take. If anything, BenElton has got to be worried about losing his third. And 5 base to, even if he holds, 5 base to 3, not a comforting situation to be in.
Right. I mean, we haven't taken a look at Zerg's drone count for a while, so I'm not sure how he's doing. Okay, looks like he's pretty good saturated at all his bases. Yeah, he has a lot of drones, so I think he's in a very good position, actually. Like, I just have trouble seeing how Protoss is going to outmuscle Zerg from this position. For the record, though, I don't think we've ever seen a macro game on Tau Cross in any of the Apocalypse series.
We really haven't. Everyone's always wanted to mix it up, do something cheeky on Tau Cross. Nice pick off. Let's see how well he can dodge this storm. There's a Reaver here, so there's plenty of splash damage to try and help hold, but there's just not that much actual units. He is going to be able to clean, but just barely, it looks like. And
okay, more hydras coming in from the... Yeah, more hydras coming in. The thing about this is that, like, we see that ArtOfTurtle is losing a lot of units here, but he's picking off all the gas units from Protoss, and Protoss has no gas. Like, these units are so expensive on 2 base for Protoss. I mean, we do see that maybe he's not spending his money very well because he's bloating a lot of gas, but like, I don't know. This is just like, it should be a rough position for Protoss. You should be very low on gas here because you just like don't have the option to okay, and he's gonna scout the secret fourth base as well, so I think that Zerg can easily stop that. Or actually, it just looks like he's going to run into the natural and pick off the Reaver,
and this should be it. He just does not have enough minerals. He's completely mined out at his main and his nat. His third, I don't know if it's even finished yet. He's down 20 supply. This looks commanding. The third just finished, yeah, so he's mining minerals there, but 1 base versus like 5 mining bases from Zerg. Going to be a really tough position, and Zerg should just be able to overrun here.
All right, definitely not the hero storm he needed in this case, and it looks like he is going to lose his third base, and BenElton is going to tap out. All right,
and we have get some finally pogs in the chat? Can I get some pogs in the chat for a Zerg win? Let's go. Come on.
Finally, we have a Zerg player take a game down, guys.
What?
Very well played by ArtOfTurtle. Really nice Ling play at the beginning of the game into getting so many probes with the Lings in the main. And then just some excellent Muta play in general from ArtOfTurtle.
Yeah, really, really solid multitasking all around. Like, it takes so much to micro mute as well in ZVP. It takes so much to keep even your Zerglings alive. I always was like, man, it's so easy. Just run by your Zerglings and then kill a bunch of probes. But to keep your Zerglings alive is such a hassle. When I started playing ZVP, it's so annoying. So really solid multitask overall from AOT.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think he was very, very much showcasing his... He's been playing the game for a long time, and he has really good mechanics. And he definitely played a style that game where he was able to really take advantage of that. And I don't know. It looks like he's really prepped for the series. That was a nice game overall. And we have a series now, guys.
We've got a series. I'm excited. No matter what happens, it's not going to be a 9-0. Let's freaking go.
All right. Looks like it's about time for us to go on break. Of course, we do have 2 8-minute breaks over the course of the 9-game series. Because we play all 9 games, it gets a little bit long for both the players and the casters to keep going. So we're going to go on an 8-minute break. We will have a video for you guys while we're on break. And don't go away because we'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, never mind. 1 second. We got to go. Someone redeemed call my mom and tell her I love her. So I got to do that real quick. I'm going to make that more expensive because
while we're sitting here
really a fan favorite,
waiting for Least to call his mother and for her not to answer, as has happened twice on previous streams. I'd just like to give a shout out to everyone in the chat and watching the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Looks like we have a really nice match today. We have somebody speaking. Oh, go ahead. Je vois qu'il y a quelqu'un qui parle en français. Bonjour. Bienvenue.
Please leave your message.
The disrespect every time. All right, I guess we're just going to go on break. I'll refund your channel points. Sorry about that, my guy.
All right, you need to take that off because your mom's like totally telling your bullshit.
She is not about that life.
Okay, don't go away, guys. Right. Terran still on 1 base. I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, you just have to stay alive. You just have to stay alive, and you're in a great position. You don't have to get too greedy as far as getting a bunch of stuff going.
All right, looks like Shroom gonna go ahead and try and take his natural. He has quite a force of like army supply on the map right now, so he should be able to defend this fairly easily. As long as he's probably gonna want to get some turrets up here eventually at his natural. And Silver still sitting on his 3 bases with his hidden third unscouted, so not going lurkers yet though. Just keeping on building the mutas, I think. And it looks like Shroom's gonna go into a tank push.
I mean, as someone, how do you feel about mass mutas versus this tank push? Obviously, tanks don't shoot up, so it should be pretty good for him, right?
Well, it really depends on the micro. Like, the Shroom's starting to hit a higher mass of units. But if he can pick off the tank with the mutas with some good micro or counterattack, it can be really strong. Like, Shroom only has, I think, 2 turrets in his main. So if he just sends all the mutas to his main while this is happening, then Shroom just can't ever move across the map. And with those SCV kills, he's effectively back on 1 base. Yeah, see, he can't move out because there's mutas in his main.
Yeah, this just seems increasingly worse and worse for Shroom.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the Muta micro, of course. But I think Silver's doing a pretty good job so far. That wasn't ideal, but that's okay. He is losing some Mutalisks. But he does also see the tank, which is important for Zerg. You can always put up forward Sunkens to delay the push. Alright, still losing some Mutas, but picking up a ton of SEVs here.
Yes, there's just no SEVs there. He's forced the pull, and he's killed so many of them. This is just really, really good. Anytime you see a Zerg up in supply, they're probably in a pretty good position. And Mutas are, of course, a supply buff, as you said earlier, but still, 30 supply up at this point in the game, pretty dang good for Zerg.
Yeah, definitely not bad at all by any means. He is running out of Mutas. I'm not sure what his kind of tech choice is going to be behind this. If he's going to, looks like he's going into Lurkers. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh yeah, Mass Muta still and into Lurkers. So I actually think that, I mean, he can just fly in the main. Like, this push is coming out. He unfortunately doesn't have vision of the front, but if Silver just sends all of his Mutas, well, even just to attack this, like, Shroom just doesn't have that many units, to be honest, and he's kind of moving them out single file. Like, this is Conga Line Terran, and Mutas destroy Conga Line Terran.
Yeah, you really need to be bunched up in a little bit of a ball. But this map, especially if you're going through the center, makes it extremely hard not to Conga Line. And you can see exactly what's going on. Just like you said, these Mutas are just moving in, and there's just not enough here from Shroom.
Yeah, just too many Mutas overall. Definitely you can see why Muta Micro is helpful, because Marines are pretty good. I think a counterattack in the main would have been a lot better here. I actually think Silver kind of threw away a bit of his lead with that attack. You can always like micro one group of Mutas and then A-move the rest of them. But A-move Mutas in general are really dumb, because Muta AI is pretty bad. So I was once playing a 2v2 and there was a Zealot attacking something, and I had like 9 Mutas just sitting over the Zealot, and they just like wouldn't kill it.
That's so sad. Oh my god.
They just weren't shooting. I was like, what? Okay.
I complain about Dragoons, but at least Dragoons don't cost 100 to get countered by a unit that has 50 minerals.
Losing a lot of Mutas for that tank, but does manage to pick off both of them with some pretty good micro. Terran able to get his natural up behind this though, so going to be, well, he's not very many SCVs. I don't know, definitely a very weird game from these two players. And Shroom still doesn't know about the third base. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, the longer this third base survives, I mean, without any kind of pressure at all, without forcing Silver to go try and defend it, obviously the better and better this gets for Silver.
Right. See, this play I like a lot. Just put the Mutas where Terran isn't. And he just can't even stop this. Like, he just doesn't have enough defense at home because he had to take all of his units with him in order to even pressure the natural of Silver.
This is so... The big advantage to Zerg in any matchup is the mobility that you have with units like the Mutalisk, units like the Speedlink, and Silver taking full advantage of that right now.
Yeah, it's just that units are so much faster for Zerg. So if you can get around armies and then just like counterattack them, like counterattacks are so strong as a Zerg player. Just to even slow, like you can just fly in and just because you're there, they have to turn around. And if they don't turn around, you can just kill them. So we do see, by the way, Warpgate's. Yeah, we do see, by the way, that Warpgate's pointing out that we do have a upgrade on the Mutas. He probably pointed that out a while ago, and I'm just dumb and never said it. But
me too. It's good. Me too.
Yeah, getting back into it. Getting back into it.
First, I mean, we had Ashen versus Bojack, and then other than that, we haven't had anything in 2 weeks, and we do see a big attack coming in here from Silver. That should be the end of it. Yeah, Shroom does tap out.
Full Terran still on one base. I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, you just have to stay alive. You just have to stay alive, and you're in a great position. You don't have to get too greedy as far as getting a bunch of stuff going.
All right, looks like Shroom gonna go ahead and try and take his natural. He has quite a force of like army supply on the map right now, so he should be able to defend this fairly easily. As long as he's probably gonna want to get some turrets up here eventually at his natural. And Silver still sitting on his 3 bases with his hidden third unscouted, so not going lurkers yet though. Just keeping on building mutas, I think. And it looks like Shroom's gonna go into a tank push.
I mean, as someone, how do you feel about mass mutas versus this tank push? Obviously, tanks don't shoot up, so it should be pretty good for him, right?
Well, it really depends on the micro. Like, the Shroom's starting to hit a higher mass of units. But if he can pick off the tank with the mutas with some good micro or counterattack, it can be really strong. Like, Shroom only has, I think, 2 turrets in his main. So if he just sends all the mutas to his main while this is happening, then Shroom just can't ever move across the map. And with those SCV kills, he's effectively back on 1 base. Yeah, see, he can't move out because there's mutas in his main.
Yeah, this just seems increasingly worse and worse for Shroom.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the muta micro, of course. But I think Silver's doing a pretty good job so far. That wasn't ideal, but that's okay. He is losing some mutalisks. But he does also see the tank, which is important for Zerg. You can always put up forward sunkens to delay the push. Alright, still losing some mutas, but picking up a ton of SCVs here.
Yes, there's just no SCVs there. He's forced the pull, and he's killed so many of them. This is just really, really good. Anytime you see a Zerg up in supply, they're probably in a pretty good position. And mutas are, of course, a supply buff, as you said earlier, but still 30 supply up at this point in the game, pretty dang good for Zerg.
Yeah, definitely not bad at all by any means. He is running out of mutas. I'm not sure what his kind of tech choice is going to be behind this. If he's going to, looks like he's going into lurkers. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh yeah, mass muta still and into lurkers. So I actually think that, I mean, he can just fly in the main. Like, this push is coming out. He unfortunately doesn't have vision of the front, but if Silver just sends all of his mutas, well, even just to attack this, like, Shroom just doesn't have that many units, to be honest, and he's kind of moving them out single file. Like, this is Conga Line Terran, and mutas destroy Conga Line Terran.
And we're back, folks. We got big news for you. A Zerg has won a game in the Apocalypse series. Let's go. Let's go.
The streak has been broken.
The streak has been broken.
20 Zerg losses in a row, but now we have a Zerg win.
Now we have a Zerg win. We can cancel the tier 0 versus tier 2. Now it's just tier 0 versus tier 1.
Yeah. That's the real play. I'm just gonna schedule Keen to play against all the tier 1 Protoss players. All right, so our next map is gonna be Clayfields, and we do have BenElton, our Protoss player, currently up 2-1 in the series in the bottom left, and ArtOfTurtle, our Zerg player, in the bottom right, in the green. Both are from Ash Clan, by the way, but BenElton from Team Passion Daddies on CPL Season 5, and ArtOfTurtle from Operation Indecision. And we have the Protoss player saying that it's unfair.
It's simply
he lost
unfair.
A single game, so he says it's unfair.
Honestly,
this sounds like Protoss. Honestly, like, we had, what do we have? 10 PVZ victories in a row And as soon as Protoss loses a game, they're like, it's unfair.
Just make Zerglings, man. Just make Zerglings.
Obviously, PvZ is broken, guys.
Truly, we just had them outclassed for the last 10 games in a row.
All right. So we do have Lise watching the Twitch chat instead of the game.
As always. Someone's asking who the casters are. I got to show off my sick chat commands, man.
All right. So we do have Lise, the other caster who's not me, and I am IRK Stromkarlen. And our producer and observer is Cold Warp Gates. Show him some love because really he's doing most of the work here. He's doing the stream and he's doing the overlays. And
we're just talking.
So we're just providing useless content. I'm pretty sure most people would just mute us because why would you not?
Yeah, exactly.
But we're here anyways. We think that we're important. And I, of course, actually set up the matches. So, except for this one. I can't take credit for this one.
I provide the Twitch channel.
Yeah, you provide the Twitch channel and some filler content.
We all bring something to the table here. Some of us more than others.
Yeah.
Some of us
really
more
mostly
than
Warp
Gates. Exactly. Okay, so we see another overpool from our boy AOT and another Forge Fast Expand from BenElton. Shouldn't have as much of a problem with run-bys this time. We do see him throwing down the expansion before he gets his Zerglings. But it does look like BenElton is going to throw down a cannon first this time, just to be safe. What?
Well,
cancels the cannon?
He scouted. He canceled it when he scouted.
I don't know, man. I still feel like even if you scout overpool, you should just... If the cannon's already started, I don't know if it's worth the 50 minerals to cancel it and
get the Nexus a little bit faster.
2 seconds faster.
I don't know. Like, I don't play Protoss, so I don't know how that economy lines up. But ArtOfTurtle's only building 2 links, so BenElton going to be safe here. Oh, the probe taking a lot of damage from those 2 links.
Yeah, some really nice Ling micro here from AOT, forcing that probe out completely of the main. And he's going to be able to completely block the ramp if he so chooses.
Right. And this is just a very strong position for Zerg in any case. Like, being able to deny vision from your opponent is, like, especially strong for Zerg because you can build a lot of units very quickly. So it's not just like I feel like for the other reasons, it's like you can scout whether they're building the tech to build units and building units, or if they're playing economy wise. But for Zerg, even if you have the tech, you can just still choose to drone. So like actually knowing if they're building drones or units is really important because Zerg can build a lot of units really quickly. And we do see with this denied scout, ArtOfTurtle actually threw down a Hydrogen, so this is going to be a Hydra bust play. I'm
excited to see. I would really like to see him just go for a complete bust. I know we were talking earlier about how his strength is really his intuition and his late game smarts and not so much his sharp timings. But I think best of 9, you got to mix in a Hydra all in just one time. Just do it for the one time, man.
Right. I mean, I think it's good. I hope he takes a good engagement here with the Zealot. He has 4 links, so he should be able to deal with it, no problem. Nice surround here.
Yeah,
and of course, as long as it doesn't get in the main,
it looks like it might be able to
do. Drone.
Oh yeah, there we go. Plenty, but definitely suspicious when they block with a drone. But of course, you can't confirm that. They could just be playing heavy mind games and be going 3 Hatch Spire behind this. So he does cannon up. Combination of factors. You see the drone block on the ramp. You see the overlords in front of your base.
And he scouted extra lings. I actually don't know that he's scared of Hydras right now. I think he's probably more scared of lings. Because the thing is that those cannons are way too early for a Hydra bust. Right? Like, if you're throwing down your cannons at 5 minutes, you're just hurting yourself economically. And in this case, like, we see that he has 3 cannons now, but I feel like the Hydra Bust almost can work better now, just because Protoss's economy is hurt more, which means that they have less zealots for when your Hydras get there. And Hydras actually kill cannons really quickly, especially when they're close to the wall like that. It's actually having a lot of zealots that can make Hydra Bust just not work.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at Twitch chat again.
Oh my goodness.
I'm the worst
You
ever.
really are.
But I totally am with you. I think that's part of my problem with Hydra Bust is I throw down cannons too early, and then I just don't have enough units to punish fast enough. And oh my gosh, a little bit of miss micro there with the Zealot just getting rallied out to get eaten up by those Hydralisks, and he's going to be able to pick off this wall. Despite having the Corsair Scout, he's still throwing down 6 cannons. So definitely making very sure that he doesn't just die to the Hydra all in. But going to be significantly weaker in the later game.
Yeah, especially because Zerg actually isn't building Hydras anymore. Zerg is droning. So having 5 cannons here for Protoss, and especially because he threw down 2 cannons early, I feel like he's actually put himself in a bit of a rough position. Okay, ArtOfTurtle now putting himself in a rough position.
Yeah, this is pretty questionable.
I mean, I guess you can try and scare Protoss, but he does have the Scout. Did he lose his Corsair?
No, he
didn't lose it. Okay. So he's able to keep tabs on what Zerg is doing. The one thing that I don't like here from ArtOfTurtle is he doesn't have an Overlord in the main of Protoss. If you're doing a Spireless build, where you don't have Scourge to scout the main, you really need to go ahead and just throw an Overlord in the main base of Protoss so you know what they're doing. Because there's a couple of responses that Protoss can choose to do from 3-Hatch Hydra, and it's really important that you know which one they're doing if you're transitioning, so that you can go ahead and choose the appropriate response to that yourself. So just kind of a thing if you're like learning CVP, if you're brand new. Basically, if you go a Spire build, you don't have to put an Overlord in the main if it's Forge Fast Expand. But in any other situation, you need to just go ahead and throw an Overlord in the main of Protoss. And you just sack an Overlord. That's fine. You just need to know what they're doing so that you can respond correctly.
Yeah, the big advantage you have in this matchup as Zerg, other than the fact that Hydralisk's OP lol, is the fact that you get so much information. And other than Corsair Scouting, which takes a lot of multitasking, Protoss is pretty much in the dark. So you're able to spread lings everywhere, you're able to put Overlords in the main, and you're able to react really well to what Protoss is doing. So super important to take advantage of that. I've even seen some lower level players put an Overlord in the main even with a Spire build. Even though it's not strictly necessary, they're just like, I don't want to get taken by surprise for anything, so they'll just sack the Overlord anyways.
Right. And that's definitely not a bad idea. It's especially if your Scourge timing isn't tight. Like, you really need to get your gas down by like 245 and get the Scourge immediately in the main to be able to react appropriately. But I mean, it's like basically you have to be doing a Spire build, and Protoss can't be gate expanding or 2-gating. Like, if Protoss is gate expanding or 2-gating, then you have to put an Overlord in the main regardless if you're Inspire or not.
Right. And we do see BenElton there losing his Corsair, trying to get an Overlord. I mean, I don't want to say that it's not smart to try and harass Overlords with Corsairs, but when you only have one, I feel like it's almost equivalent to the Zerg building 2 Zerglings to kill the probe. Like, you're probably not going to kill anything, so you're safer just using it to scout, right?
Alright, we do see ArtOfTurtle going to be going into some Mutalisks after this, and BenElton moved some Zealots on the map, and he actually missed them with his vision, but he's going to find them now with the Mutalisks. So a very nice play by ArtOfTurtle. And looks like he's going to try and use some Mutas to get into Hydra play again. And this could work really well for him. He does have a 4th base up already, and he's spending his money very well, although he is supply blocked right now. Oh man, he could have just dived on the main, because there's no cannon, but he didn't dive on it quite quickly enough.
And
right,
pretty awesome storm. We've got heavily damaged mutas now, as well as a push coming out here. A lot of overlords in the path of the push, which is super frustrating. He's going to be supply blocked pretty heavily.
Right. I think actually those overlords might have been in the control group with the mutas. So at this point, like, I don't know. It's really difficult to micro mutas when you have overlord speed, to be honest. So I feel like you want to be putting... Okay, he is actually kind of just storming his own units here.
He did pick off quite a few Templars, but okay, yeah, never mind. He's going to be able to hold this easily. I didn't see how many Hydras he had up there. Pure Goon versus pure Hydra.
I mean, he's still kind of in trouble a little bit. Like, you know that Goons aren't very good against Hydras, but he's going to have to... He actually shouldn't be taking this fight right now. The real play here is to actually retreat and wait for your reinforcements, instead of just bleeding those Hydras out. So it's really critical for Zerg, especially, to be fighting with their whole army all the time. So all of this play where he's just kind of like bleeding units, you really, if he had saved that rally and not gone in right away, that would have been much, much better for a Zerg player. And I actually think he's just going to die to this bust. He just didn't have enough units.
I actually don't understand Dragoons. Or, like, let's be honest, I don't understand anything. But they're so good sometimes, and then other times you see like equal amount of Hydras take them out, and I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it does look like he's gonna die. This is whenever you get on top of the natural for Zerg, it's really, really tough to come back from. You cut off the main and nat from the rest of the production, and
right.
Like we've said before, it's just extremely hard for Zerg to fight when their whole army isn't together.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like BenElton going to take a third behind this, but it doesn't even matter. ArtOfTurtle is going to tap out, and we're going to jump into our next game. Yeah, that was just a little bit of a mistake by ArtOfTurtle. I didn't have quite enough Hydras, and I think he probably could have built like a couple sunks there as well if he didn't think that he would have enough units. Usually, when you go mutas, you actually do sunk. Like throw a sunk down at each base no matter what. Right. But I think that like going muta out of 973 is difficult regardless. Because it's kind of like the wrong response. And then we actually see him saying in the chat talking about supply block. He did actually supply block himself and then he lost 2 overlords. So it was kind of a tricky situation because he didn't have as many units as he should have had when that push came in.
Yeah, and I almost thought, as we all saw me screw up the call, I almost thought even with the units that he had, he was going to hold. So imagine if he just had like 10 more Hydralisks because he got supply blocked for slightly less time.
Right. And the other thing... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say he probably would have been fine.
Yeah. The other thing is like he didn't have enough units and he was... he didn't wait for his rally. Like you saw, like he had those Hydras kind of in the north of the army, and he moved them in even though he didn't have enough to take the fight. The real issue with Zerg against Protoss is that on either side, you really need to have enough units to win the fight because you lose so many units, even if you're just a little bit disadvantaged. But that being said, we do have ArtOfTurtle in the upper left as our Zerg player, and BenElton is our Protoss player in the bottom right of Overwatch, which is our next map. In case you guys didn't realize, blue map's best map.
Blue map's OP. Confirmed. We should have picked a blue map for our 9th map instead of Escalade. What are we thinking?
True. Is there another blue map on ladder though?
No, dude, we don't even need a ladder map. Come on, let's just do Polaris Rhapsody. Who cares?
No, because the whole point was to choose a ladder map. Because the idea of the series is to like only give the players maps that they have to play anyways, right?
Right. I guess so.
Yeah. So our choices were like Escalade or La Mancha or Hitchhiker. I think those were our choices. So we went with Escalade.
We got Warp Gates saying best of 9 with only blue maps. I don't know if there's 9 blue maps in the history of Brood War, my guy.
I'm sure there is. Okay, we could have Medusa, Overwatch, Eddie, Polaris Rhapsody,
Gladiator,
Inner
Coven, obviously you got to throw it in there. Sparkle, for sure.
That's 7 already.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, we definitely have 9.
Blue Storm.
And wasn't there like Reverse Lost Temple or something like that was blue? Or am I just
there's like a fighting spirit. There's a blue fighting spirit that was in BWCL at one point.
Okay, we can definitely do blue fighting spirit. If we're gonna do freaking Sparkle and Inner Coven, we gotta have some standard maps to balance it out.
We should do, like, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to cast after the CPL season's over. What if we started doing show matches just based on the color of the maps?
That would be
maybe not best of 9s, but like best of 7s or best of 5s.
That would be great.
Wouldn't that be excellent? Yeah.
What do we call it though?
I don't know. You got to give me more time on this.
All right.
I feel like I'm fairly good at naming stuff, but like.
Okay. Warp Gates really wants to point out the fact that it is 1-base Protoss. We probably should have noted that earlier on in the game.
Overrated. I actually think Zerg went hatch first against this, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he definitely went.
No, he went overpool. Are you sure? I think he didn't. I think he went hatch first.
I'm 100% sure, actually. I'm usually never sure on anything. But I remember specifically him being at like 10 supply and going. Because it's 305 and
my goodness,
just finishing, right?
He gets the probe right away. Definitely not ideal.
I actually like it. As far as 1-base tech goes, I like this build a lot.
I feel like he can just build lings and win. That's how I feel about this game. Like, really strongly, that's how I feel about this game. And he's, like, baiting him with the Overlord, too. Like, that's one Zealot. He has one Zealot. He's, like, he should just die to lings. He deserves to die to lings.
I would like to rescind my statement about liking this a lot. As far as
he didn't build more lings. Never mind. He's not going to die to lings. I actually think that ArtOfTurtle is pretty good against 1-base builds, though, if I remember correctly.
It's definitely, especially 1-base tech builds, I just feel like aren't that strong. If you're going to go 1-base, you probably want to go for 2-gate. But who knows? Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm going to pull out my Protoss versus random Zerg build, see what happens.
Right. I actually think it's funny that he chose to do that on this map, though, specifically, because Overwatch is pretty good for a macro game for Protoss and not very good for a macro game for Zerg. So I feel like this might have been a better build to pull out on a different map. But oh well, I mean, he's chosen to do it here, and it definitely can be a very strong build depending on how the Zerg responds.
It's going to come down a lot to how well Zerg can micro against the Reavers too, and how good of an engage you can take. I've won a couple games against players much stronger than me with this build just by catching them with their whole army in their choke, and then the Reaver gets deadly shots. But
right.
If you get a nice surround and you spread out your Hydras really well, the Reaver becomes worthless, and Dragoons are just awful against Hydras, as we've previously discussed.
Right. I really think a speed lean all-in still would have worked here, but whatever. Oh, it actually looks like that's what he's doing now.
Yeah, if you know it's Zerg and you want to go 1-base tech build, I kind of like Zealot, Core Zealot, instead of what he did, which is just make your Core first and then make your Zealot. Because then you are very vulnerable, as we were talking about, to Zerglings. And he's just making so many Zerglings. Is the Reaver going to be out in time? Obviously, Reaver's kind of shred.
Oh, the Reaver's done. I think it's going to be Hydras from here. Or not.
I guess he just really is regretting the fact that he didn't finish this game when he had the chance. But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting choice. Oh, he's going to see the Lings too here. Oh, and not a good reaction time from ArtOfTurtle.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. This is like basically it for Zerg.
Yeah, there's just no way to come back from this.
Like, this is just so hard. Like, he really needed to attack with all his units at once in this situation. Like, you just can't afford to, with Lings, like, they get so exponentially better the more you have. So, like, any situation, like I was saying before, where you're, like, not fighting with all your army is, like, really, really bad for Zerg.
I don't know that you can really, like, afford to go mass Lings unless you're going for that early bust like we were talking about, though, because Reavers just so shred through Zerglings. So once that Reaver pops out, it feels like they're as safe as if they had Forge Fast expanded, you know?
Yeah,
where
it was definitely
it's possible to bust, but it's not strong per se.
Yeah, it was definitely just too late.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, that Scarab was so good.
That was a really good micro. He actually clicked on one of the Hydras in the back of the pack, which is what you want to do to get the most possible splash damage. Super strong play by BenElton.
Alright. And they're going to go ahead and try and take these fights over this bridge. Definitely hard for Protoss to get their army across. Of course, the Hydras are ranged, and he does have vision, so that engagement is pretty okay for Zerg. At this point, like against a one base build as Zerg, you basically want to go ahead and take your third base when Protoss takes their natural. So that's kind of why ArtOfTurtle is watching the natural of Protoss. He's lost a lot of overlords this game though in general, so I feel like that also is putting him behind. I feel like the one only advantage that he can have here is like getting the shuttle. Like if you got the shuttle with both the Reavers in it, I feel like he's in a good position. Okay, he's going to try and get it here. But BenElton is going to go ahead and retreat that in time. Oh man, that Scarab was sick. And it looks like he's not even going to get a single Reaver here.
Oh my gosh, that's so
And just hemorrhage all of his units.
I actually really liked how he spread his Hydras too. It just BenElton had some really good Reaver micro, and the Scarabs were able to do enough to hold things off.
Alright, you see he just came in and checked for a third base. Of course, Protoss is taking their natural now, so Zerg wants to be taking the third base pretty quickly. Oh man, he's like the hero of catching overlords.
He's really playing so sharp. There's a lot of Hydras here and not that many Dragoons to buffer for the Reavers, so I think this should get cleaned, but just the fact, like you said, ArtOfTurtle wanted to take his third like a while ago. Oh my gosh, the micro, so sick. How did he hold that? He had two Reavers and 3 Dragoons, and he just beat like 10 Hydralisks.
Yeah, that was very good micro from BenElton. Really nice micro.
Oh my
and
god.
Zerg definitely needs to deal with that Reaver and that Dragoon on the ramp. And it looks like I think ArtOfTurtle's going to go ahead and take his third in upper right. Which I think is an okay decision anyways. There's only one ramp, so it's easier to defend a Zerg. So I definitely don't have a problem with him taking that third.
This is finally going to get cleaned here, but those units were so worth it, man. Like, he just did so much damage.
Right. And I mean, kind of the situation here with like the masked Hydra, I feel like, I mean, the thing is like BenElton's in the dark again, but he, like, I always feel like Mutas is a good tech choice against one base Protoss.
Right, for sure. Especially, like, if he had gone into lair a little bit faster, We do see that the Reaver was out of position. He wanted to go harass, but AOT counterattacking. Just the micro from BenElton.
Yeah, the micro's been like very, very strong. The other thing is like ArtOfTurtle's kind of messing up a little bit. He keeps trying to target the Reaver, when he actually can just target the Dragoons.
Right, yeah, because Reavers by themselves are actually not very strong. It's the Reavers in conjunction with the Dragoons to buffer. So if you take out all the Dragoons, then killing the Reaver becomes so much more easy. So much more easy, wow. I speak English.
Really good words by you.
Really good words by me.
I think it's, just very good words.
I'm pretty much top tier caster, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Tasteless 2.0, right?
Tasteless 2.0. It's not becoming a thing. I said it in a moment of pride. Oh my gosh, he wants to kill these Reavers so bad, but they're just doing so much damage. ArtOfTurtle GG's out.
All right, that almost worked, but BenElton just had very good Reaver micro, to be honest. He played that very well.
That was crazy. Imagine if he just had slightly worse micro, if he had like lost that first Reaver, instead of being able to hide it on the ramp and clean up that 12 Hydras that were coming at him. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Could have gone in a completely different direction.
I agree. Well, actually, the thing that could have made it go in a completely different direction is if he hadn't built so many Lings at the beginning.
True, that as well. A lot. And that really shows you, like, not to balance wine in a series where the Protoss is up 4-1, but that shows you how weak.
But you're going to do it anyways.
One base tech is against Zerg. I feel like a lot of things went wrong for Zerg, and he still had a chance to bust there at the end. We do have a question in chat. What's the MMR of these players? ArtOfTurtle, I know for a fact, is 1850 on ladder right now. And what MMR has BenElton, Strom?
No idea. Haven't a clue.
Okay, well, apparently he's a little bit higher than 1850, but yes, please, I would love to introduce these players. In the top right, we have our yellow Zerg, ArtOfTurtle. And
currently 4-pooling.
Sick. And in the bottom left, we have BenElton, our Protoss player. I like this because you know that I would like it a tiny bit more if it was 5-pool. But since BenElton has gone Forge Fast Expand so much,
right,
you're going to be able to transition probably. If you go for something like 2-gate, then you just lose.
I think the plan is to just kill him. Oh, and he's going one base
again.
How is one base against 4-pool? Do you know?
I know that 2-gate absolutely murders 4-pool. I do not know how 1-gate tech is. I would assume it just is really strong because you don't have enough zealots to get it out in time. But let's see if he decides to go for 1-gate or 2.
Right. I kind of like this play by ArtOfTurtle on this map. This map is very difficult to play a defensive Zerg style on, because there's so many pathways on Escalade. So it's really tricky to. It's just hard. It's just a hard map to play a defensive style on.
Oh my god, he's going 2-gate. Our Zergs, I mean, they can just not catch a break. It's brutal. We see the 4-pool. BenElton sees the 4-pool. So if you pull probes and just delay the Lings for a small amount of time until you get like 3 zealots out, then you're going to be absolutely fine. And then you can go counter pressure, and Zerg can just never have the opportunity to drone up like they would against Forge Fast Expand.
Right, and we do see that. Oh my goodness, he doesn't think that he's here because he doesn't see the front. Oh, no.
no.
Oh, no. He wasn't expecting one base. So he thought that Protoss was top left. ArtOfTurtle made a mistake. He actually drone scouted with Pupil, but he drone scouted the same direction that his Overlord went.
And he just GG's out. That's GG's so unfortunate.
And with that game, we actually had BenElton take the series, right?
Yeah, BenElton does take the series 5-1. Let's see what AOT can do to regain some pride in these last couple games. Yeah, I agree, chat. It was a sad loss, but at the same time, even if he had scouted, it's still 2-gate versus 4-pool. Like, 2-gate's just so strong against 4-pool.
Yeah, and we did see like BenElton did the thing where he added an extra pylon so that he couldn't have just stop the production.
Yeah, very strong play against early links.
All right, I have somebody asking in the chat, how come the Swedish nickname? Stromkarlen is a mythological creature, a folkloric creature. And it's like Scandinavian folklore, and it is a water spirit that plays a violin in folklore, and I'm a violinist, so yeah, I'm taking violin performance in university. So it's like a folklore creature that like suits me, I guess. That's where the ID comes from. If you Google Fossagrim, you will be able to find the AKA Stromkarlen just on Google. But yeah, everyone always assumes I'm Swedish because I have a Swedish ID, and then I also am on IRK, so. All right. And I think that we're going to go ahead and go into another break. Of course, we take breaks after Game 3 and Game 6 in these series.
Don't go away. We'll see you guys soon. So that he doesn't have to do too much more micro with the Corsairs.
Looks like it will to me. He's got enough time to get both Stairs to the cannons and the natural, and that cannon will finish by the time the next Stair is done.
And right, we're seeing Ashton just go for a nice 730. We should see him push out any moment here. We do have Bojack with building Hydras that should be enough to hold just fine.
Nice build here by Ashen. Looks like he's hitting it pretty well, actually. Both players are hitting their builds pretty well right now, I think.
Agreed. The only thing I would like to see from Ashen, from a Protoss perspective, is you can feel free to push out at like 710, and then your upgrades finish like right as you get to the Zerg base. But such a small thing doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I think that Bojack actually has enough to drive this back anyways, so hopefully Ashen's got Storm on the way and he'll be able to hold the 5-hatch Hydra counter. The one thing by Bojack that I don't really like is the Sin City at his third base. It just doesn't look like a very nice wall to me. You can easily get around that, just walk up the ramp and go around the right-hand side and get into the drone line.
Right, yeah.
Alright, gonna just go ahead and pick off a couple links and go home. Lots of Hydras out at both bases, so we're going to, hope he goes home with those. Oh, he's just gonna fight. Okay, drive some of the Hydras back a little bit. Okay, now I hope he goes home. Go home.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not worth it. It buys him a little bit of time just in case he didn't have Storm up. Does look like he's gonna go for an 8-gate here.
Alright, I guess we're gonna see from... That's good. I hope he has Storm. He needs to throw down a couple more cannons, actually, because it's definitely a lot of Hydras from Bojack. I'm not sure, like, you can actually go for a 5-hatch Hydra bust out of this build, so I guess we're gonna see if Bojack decides to do that, or if he decides to drone behind this. Does look like he's going to drone. Yeah.
Right, maybe that's something we'll see later on in the game. Or later on in the series, I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's definitely a good idea to bring it out at some point. It definitely feels like both players are just kind of feeling feeling the map out or feeling the player out. I don't think they've played each other for a long time. And this map, especially for Zerg, is really a great map to play a macro game on because it is a 3-player map. So like Bojack was saying in the interview, guys, if you don't know a lot about PvZ, for Zerg, you generally feel more comfortable if you're up a couple bases on Protoss. So basically in the early game, Zerg has a little bit of a little bit more initiative than Protoss in the matchup because they can do things like Hydra Bust or Ling All In while Protoss is in the dark. Then for the 2-0 push that Protoss can do, the favor kind of shifts a little bit back onto them because 2-0 Protoss, that push is definitely very difficult to stop. You have to macro really well as Zerg and build a lot of drones. But then if you manage to actually split the map in half. All right, Ashton really wanting one of these overlords here.
This is just really nice. This is just really nice from Protoss. Even if you don't wind up getting an overlord, you tax your opponent's APM, and this matchup is really such a multitasking battle that if you feel like you have an advantage in APM, spend every second trying to annoy the Zerg and try and get him to move units around and things like that.
Alright, looks like Ashton's going to go ahead and try and break out of this contain before it kind of started.
Nice storm on 2 lurkers.
Yeah, and they were pretty split up as well, and he still managed to get them on both lurkers. I think his observers are not quite out yet, but just kind of actually disintegrating this army with Storm. Looks like Ashton getting ready for a very strong 2-0 push. I think hopefully he's macroing well behind it. He does have about 120 to 73 supply blocked Zerg behind this. And as Relentless is showing us, oh, Zerg's actually trying to go into Hive behind this. I actually think this was a mistake. Generally, if Protoss is on 2 base, you want to wait till they take their 3rd until you start to tech up, because if Ashen actually pushes right now, which I'm not sure if he's going to do, because he might not sense it, but it's actually, you're putting so many resources into trying to tech up that Ashen can actually just go kill him right now, because he doesn't have enough lurkers. You actually need to put all of your gas and all of your minerals into Hydra Lurker to hold a well-macroed 2-0 push from 2-base Protoss.
Yeah, and it's you can see it in the supplies. I mean, he's almost 50 supply up, Ashen is. Bojack just now getting his 4th down. He's trying really hard to go to Hive. I'm surprised that Ashen isn't pushing right now. He's got a decent-sized army. He's got his 2-0 upgrades, I believe. He is doing some decent work with these Corsairs. He's keeping them alive very well, and he's doing some damage where he can.
Yeah, I guess the thing that really surprises me is that he can see that Bojack has not enough units to hold his push, like not enough lurkers, and yet he's still kind of holding back. So, being offensive with lurkers is really difficult.
Yeah,
actually, I think he's going to bleed some units for free here. Oh, 6th Storm! Really nice storm there from Ashen. Oh, now all the lurkers are all clumped up. Man, everything kind of going wrong here for Bojack. Storm's hitting really well. And we just saw Zerg plummet to 72 supply to a 140 supply Protoss. This 2-0 push looking really strong from Ashen.
And Ashen, just go kill him, man. Go kill him. I will unapologetically root for the Protoss here.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the underdog story too a little bit, and you know, he is on IRK, and he is on my CPL team, so I can't pretend that I'm not rooting for Protoss a little bit. But
the thing with these tier 2 matchups, especially like this is our first one, but I'm sure we'll have some in the future. They have less experience with show matches, so I'm sure Ashen would be so. He would hate to have to push and then get this held, and then have to go into game 2 being like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to 2-0 push or whatever, you know? So he's a little bit nervous about it, but he just has enough stuff to win it right now.
Yeah, really strong push from Ashen. Really nice scouting with the Corsairs throughout the entire game, I think. I mean, Zerg's pretty dead at this point. Yeah, GG as well. I really noticed, like, he's...
so that he doesn't have to do too much more micro with the Corsairs.
Looks like it will to me. He's got enough time to get both Stairs to the cannons and the natural, and that cannon will finish by the time the next Stair is done.
And
right,
we're
just
seeing
nice and
Ashen just
standard.
go for a nice 730. We should see him push out any moment here. We do have Bojack with building Hydras that should be enough to hold just fine.
Nice build here by Ashen. Looks like he's hitting it pretty well, actually. Both players are hitting their builds pretty well right now, I think.
Agreed. The only thing I would like to see from Ashen, from a Protoss perspective, is you can feel free to push out at like 710, and then your upgrades finish like right as you get to the Zerg base. But such a small thing doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I think that Bojack actually has enough to drive this back anyways, so hopefully Ashen's got Storm on the way and he'll be able to hold the 5-hatch Hydra counter. The one thing by Bojack that I don't really like is the Sin City at his third base. It just doesn't look like a very nice wall to me. You can easily get around that, just walk up the ramp and go around the right-hand side and get into the drone line.
Right, yeah.
Alright, gonna just go ahead and pick off a couple links and go home. Lots of Hydras out at both bases, so we're going to, hope he goes home with those. Oh, he's just gonna fight. Okay, drive some of the Hydras back a little bit. Okay, now I hope he goes home. Go home.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not worth it. It buys him a little bit of time just in case he didn't have Storm up. Does look like he's going to go for an 8 gate here.
Alright, I guess we're going to see from... That's good. I hope he has Storm. He needs to throw down a couple more cannons, actually, because it's definitely a lot of Hydras from Bojack. I'm not sure, like, you can actually go for a 5-hatch Hydra bust out of this build, so I guess we're going to see if Bojack decides to do that, or if he decides to drone behind this. Does look like he's going to drone. Yeah.
Right, maybe that's something we'll see later on in the game. Or later on in the series, I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's definitely a good idea to bring it out at some point. It definitely feels like both players are just kind of feeling the map out, or feeling the player out. I don't think they've played each other for a long time. And this map, especially for Zerg, is really a great map to play a macro game on, because it is a 3-player map. So, like Bojack was saying in the interview, guys, if you don't know a lot about PvZ, for Zerg, you generally feel more comfortable if you're up a couple bases on Protoss. So basically, in the early game, Zerg has a little bit of a little bit more initiative than Protoss in the matchup, because they can do things like Hydra Bust or Ling All In while Protoss is in the dark. Then, for the 2-0 push that Protoss can do, the favor kind of shifts a little bit back onto them, because 2-0 Protoss, that push is definitely very difficult to stop. You have to macro really well as Zerg and build a lot of drones. But then, if you manage to actually split the map in half...
Welcome back, folks. It's Least with Stromkarlen and Cold Warp Gates. We have another Apocalypse match ongoing as we speak. BenElton is currently leading ArtOfTurtle 5-1. So he has locked up the series, but we've got 3 more games coming at you. That's just how we roll around here. We're excited to see
all 9 games, no matter what. Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
I'm actually not sorry. I did it on purpose.
A little bit rude, but I'll accept it. I'll accept it.
As an apology, why don't you introduce the players?
All right. In the 12 o'clock position, we have our purple Zerg player, ArtOfTurtle. And in the 4 o'clock position, we have our white Protoss player, BenElton.
All right, good job. I'm proud of you.
Killed it.
I'm proud of you. I gotta say.
I appreciate that. It means a lot. So, already no 5 pool, which is... That's something. We got a relative
that is a build. Not a 5 pool is a build confirmed.
What if you just went 5 pool 2 games in a row? That'd be so funny.
I mean,
well, I went 4 pool last time.
He actually said in the chat afterwards that he didn't mean to 4 pool. He just like his drone didn't build or something.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Rip. And
yeah.
He's like, well, I guess we're doing this now.
And then he like drone scouted the wrong way. Like I was like, oh my god.
You could tell not feeling super hot. Oh my gosh. BenElton scouting the right direction. How does ArtOfTurtle come back?
I don't know. It's pretty
fun.
difficult.
It looks like he's going for... Never mind. I'm just stupid. I thought it was later in the game than it was.
Alright, so it's going to be a pylon scout from Protoss, which usually means that he's going to go Forge Fast Expand up against Overpool. So just like pretty standard play overall from both of our players so far. Sylphid, of course, a nice map for Zerg, and this position specifically mines really fast if you mineral boost. It actually doesn't look to me like ArtOfTurtle has boosted all of the drones that he can boost. Because that one that's like the 5th patch up, I'm pretty sure you can boost that drone. But if you do boost all the drones in this position, you actually can mine really, really quickly at 12 as a Zerg player.
Yeah, just the position.
You have no idea. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I know what mineral boosting is. I know it's a thing. Spam the carry minerals thing until they go faster or something. But
right, it's okay. You don't have to comment on it.
I was gonna spout. I was gonna be like, yeah, just really, it's interesting how the positioning of the minerals works.
Yeah, I know. I caught you. I knew that you didn't know what you're talking about.
You got me.
It's you deserve it because you keep looking at Twitch.
That had nothing to do with me looking at Twitch chat, though.
No, it didn't. It didn't. But like, you deserve the shame because of the fact that you look at Twitch. You know.
That's just disrespect. That's just disrespect.
Oh, for sure.
All right. So, nothing too out of the ordinary going on here. We got BenElton returning to his 2 base ways, going for a Forge Fast Expand here. And ArtOfTurtle, as per usual, going for an Overpool.
Right. He did choose to take that mineral only as his 3rd base. I don't super like that 3rd. I prefer to actually take the, I guess the 11 o'clock 3rd base that's on the high ground. Yeah, that one right there that Warp Gates is pointing out. Just because you can get your 3rd gas quickly, and then you can always take another natural or another main on Sylphid if you're in these positions, and you take that 3rd. That 3rd's like very easy to defend because there's only 1 ramp. And the mineral only is just a little bit more open, and you have to take a 4th to make sure that you get your 3rd gas, so that you can actually do a lurker transition in mid game. So I just like, unless he's going really heavy hydras, like a hydra bus 973, which I think he actually got lair, so I don't think he's doing that. Yeah. I am just not a super fan of this 3rd base, but I mean, ArtOfTurtle obviously knows what he's doing, so we'll see what he has planned for taking this mineral only. If you're in like opposite positions, like if Protoss was in like bottom left instead of bottom right, and then you take that like 3 o'clock position as the high ground 3rd, and then you can take the mineral only as your 4th. That's a really good setup for Zerg for mid game for like holding a 2-0 push. But in these positions, I think it's just harder.
And we do see a Zealot coming out here trying to get some harass done for some more links. Let's see. We do have 4 links coming in here, but it's going to get 1 drone kill at least, and then be able to hide himself in this little cranny here. So he's going to trade pretty effectively against these links, at least as effectively as possible.
Yeah, wow. Really nice nook there for the Zealot. Yeah, and ArtOfTurtle, like, not really with a super fast reaction. The Zealot did kill a drone. So that's definitely not ideal for Zerg. Definitely wanting to mineral walk that drone away beforehand. But now he actually has no Yeah, he's going to add an extra cannon. Protoss definitely has to be scared of a Ling all-in this case, because basically if you see that Zerg is going to lair build, Zerg is getting Ling speed with their second 100 gas. So any like Zealot aggression should be cleaned up, because as long as Zerg reacts, because they should have really fast Ling speed. If you skip lair and go Hydra, usually you don't get Ling speed unless you're up against Gate Expand. So it's kind of a situation where if you go ahead and lose your Zealot on the map, then you kind of have to add the extra cannon because you don't have the defense. And you know that Zerg is going to have speed lean, so they can very well pull out a Ling all-in.
That makes a lot of sense. So, as a Protoss player, if you're new, generally, you can't go wrong getting that second cannon if you're a new player. You see, I heard it best, I forget exactly who it was, but someone in the CPL channel was like, it's more of a you learn when to cut the second cannon than you learn when you should add the second cannon. Never a problem with being safe like BenElton is doing here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, better to have two cannons than to die to a Ling all-in, right? I mean, we all know how frustrated Protoss gets when they die to Lings.
Ling's pretty strong. What can you say?
So, don't be that Protoss player. Build cannons.
Build cannon. We do see... I wonder if he's going to go into mutas again. I don't know why I said we do see, because we don't see anything right now. But he has been really liking mutas in the previous games. I think at least like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
but
he actually
like going straight into Hydras here. Yeah.
Here, I will teach you something. At least if Zerg is doing a 5 muta opener, you actually get 5 mutas before you get Scourge. So if you see Zerg get Scourge, it's not the 5 muta opener. You also get the mutas before you get the Evo chamber and the Hydra Den. So you add the 2 hatcheries, and then you get the mutas, and then you add the rest of your tech buildings. So because we saw him get Scourge, it's not a 5 muta opener. It doesn't mean he can't get mutas later on in the game, but it does mean that he's not getting them right now.
Oh my gosh! If he sneaks this DT in, there's nothing in the main. There's no Overlord speed, so he's gonna need to hatch an Overlord from one of these larvae. But we do see him immediately pull away all the drones.
Okay, gets 3 drone kills so far. Oh, and there wasn't even an Overlord in any of the eggs. And he actually wasn't quick at building Overlord at all. He should have Overlord speed on the way. But this DT just doing so much damage, even just with the lost mining time here. For Zerg.
Yeah, and like you said, the forced lost mining time, the Sloverlord's taking forever to get into the main base, and he's able to just hide his DT so that until he gets Overlord speed, there's really no way to hunt this down. If you try and move the Overlords all the way over there to hunt it down, then he can just run back the other direction and do even more damage on that mineral line.
Yeah, exactly. I think he did manage to get an Overlord in there and clean it up, though. BenElton, of course, going for more DTs. Oh, he didn't find it. He ran it in the corner. I guess the one thing about this build is that oftentimes you can get a lot less. Okay, it looks to me like he's going to try and kill him with Hydras. Very late Hydra timing, though. So BenElton should definitely have Storm. And this should not work by Zerg.
Yeah, really, anytime you rush for Templar like BenElton did here, it doesn't seem very strong. When I rush Templar, the big advantage for me is that I don't have to worry about getting busted by Hydras. Like, I don't even add up to 4 or 5 cannons like I generally do against with the 730 build.
Right. I mean, he does have the 2 cannons. He has a lot of speed zealots. Okay, does manage to pick off 1 cannon. And he has the zealots coming out on the map. He does have a lot of Hydras here, so definitely a fight that Zerg can take. And if he keeps building Hydras, he definitely needs to run in here and try and bust. Because... Okay. Gonna go ahead and snipe the second cannon. Baits another Storm, which doesn't do too much damage. But with this amount of Hydras, Like, Zerg needs to go kill Protoss, otherwise it's not worth it.
Oh, and Corsair counterattack doing clearing out the overlords at the third base, so he's going to force yet another drone pull. Like you said, this is becoming an increasingly dire for ArtOfTurtle. He's just really going to need to do damage here. Otherwise, he's going to be in a really rough spot. The DT is completely clearing this mineral line. That's brutal.
Yeah, just losing all those drones. And he actually doesn't even have a big enough Hydra count to even fight these Zealots. Oh, actually, maybe he does now. BenElton just kind of walking his Templars out into this Hydra line. Definitely not a good look for our Protoss player here. And the Hydras are coming into the natural of Protoss. Of course, with the gateways that Protoss has in his main, he should be able to rally Speed Zealots, which are quite good against Hydras. And in that case, the wall actually benefits Zerg more than it benefits Protoss. Because... Alright, and I think this is pretty much held from Protoss. You can't really win this from here from Zerg.
Yeah, he just doesn't have enough drones. He doesn't have... I was gonna joke about how unfair it is that Zerg almost busted there, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, he didn't... one thing you can do when you do this kind of all-in build is just go ahead and throw down a sunk at your natural and your third, and leave one overlord there, especially if you know they're on DT tech, and then just go ahead and move all the rest of your overlords and your units and rally to Protoss's natural.
And DT is just absolutely massacring every drone that's left. Oh, no fun for ArtOfTurtle. He's got a okay amount of Hydras left, but as soon as BenElton's able to get another rally of units out, he should be able to clean it up, no problem.
Yeah, and ArtOfTurtle's just broke. Like, he's supply blocked now as well, and he just doesn't have the drones to support this because BenElton did go ahead and kill the drones that were left at home.
Man, I'm really going to have to go back and watch these Apocalypse show matches that just happened. Just for my own Protoss knowledge. Like, learn exactly how these guys... I'm going to, like, beg for the replays from BenElton and from... who was our other Protoss player?
Dragoon.
Dragoon. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be like, alright, this is how I get good against Zerg.
Alright, and he... After taking out this Overlord... the Hydras are just going to get kind of massacred by the DTs, and ArtOfTurtle is going to go ahead and tap out. And the series score is now 6-1 for BenElton.
But it's not 7-0, so we got that going for us. Which is
yes,
nice.
We do.
What's our next map? Let's see. We've got Match Point coming up, and this map I know for a fact, I was wrong earlier, but I know for a fact you're not a fan of this map for ZVP, right? There's just not enough bases.
Yeah, I'm not a super fan of it. I mean, like, I like playing that many base macro Zerg style, so you know, I mean, you've played with me a lot, you know what style I like to play, and it doesn't really work on this map very well. Would you like to do the honors list? He would not like to do the honors. We do have our Zerg player ArtOfTurtle in the bottom left, and our Protoss player BenElton in the top right. And Least is AFK or something. I don't know. So I will just take this opportunity to say we have lots of fun events coming up this week and next week. Be sure to tune into Match of the Week today after this cast. We have Sat Zero coming at you on the Coach Pupil League Twitch with the Match of the Week for CPL. So this is going to be a selection of matches from the regular CPL Best of 3 weekly games. And he usually casts that with Nablime. So that's a good time. Definitely tune into that, 6 p.m. EDT. And then also we have on Monday, we have 2 events coming at you. We have Eradication Games, 3rd edition, is going to be at 2 p.m. EDT. And then we have, so that's hosted by Keen. There will be an announcement on the CPL Discord, but if you're here and you're watching, lucky you get a head start on signing up to play that. If you want to play in that event, just go ahead and message Keen on Discord, and he will be able to sign you up for a spot. And then we also have on that Monday a masterclass with Hawk, which is going to be at 8:30 p.m. EDT. It's a Zerg masterclass, so definitely come tune into that because that's going to be a lot of fun. That I think Ash Return is playing in that alongside Keen and VT George. So that should be a really fun masterclass. And then, of course, on the following Thursday, so a week from today, we have another Apocalypse show match between IRK's MWK, Protoss player, against Mars from NAS. And that's going to be a PvP. And it'll be right here on Lee's Twitch at 1 p.m. EDT. So starting an hour before this cast started today. Least, are you back?
Yep, I'm back. Just gonna watch.
All right, we do have a Nexus and then a Gateway from BenElton because he did scout 12 hatch. So he's able to go ahead and put down his Nexus and his Gateway before he gets his Forge because he's in no danger of dying from Lings. So this is going to make his Corsair timing should be really, really fast in this situation because you can get the Corsair tech really quickly when you get the Gateway this early and the Nexus first. So definitely I think an economic advantage goes to Protoss in this situation.
Yeah, it's really funny. I don't feel like going for 12 hatch. If you want to mix in 12 hatch, I don't think a 2-player place to do it because they're gonna scout. They're gonna be able to go next.
You're really quiet and you're cutting out. I don't know what's up.
Yeah, because I'm on my phone. How about now? Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? It doesn't matter.
I don't know. My internet just cut out. It doesn't matter though. Yeah. But like I was saying, I don't know if hatch first on a 2-player map is objectively very good. It just feels like they're gonna scout you, and then they're gonna be able to go hatch first or Nexus first, and Nexus first is a little bit economically better.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of have to. I don't know. I've definitely seen like lots of pros use 12 hatch on 2-player maps. It's actually really in style right now because Protoss has been doing so much Gateway play, and hatch first is actually really strong against both gate expand and like 2-gate. But yeah, and I think Zerg has really figured out Cannon Rush.
Yeah. At this point in time, there's just nothing. If you go Forge first and then you scout that they're going for hatch first, there's nothing you can do. Cannon rushes are just way too weak. They just drone drill behind the mineral line. Good. That's
right, exactly. Looks like ArtOfTurtle going to go ahead and get his lair. So going to be just going ahead and doing the 3-hatch Spire, 5-hatch Hydra build, if I had to guess. Going to go ahead and chase down the Zealot. Yeah, he really is. He's done mixed up a couple plays. Like the first game we had him play like maybe a Sauron Zerg style. And we've also seen him play 3-hatch Hydra. And we've seen him do a couple of games with early Lings. One of which was the game that he won. Alright, nice micro against that Zealot. Not losing any Zerglings.
And not losing any drones, as we've seen a couple times in the past. BenElton, again, throwing down that second cannon. I cannot emphasize enough, guys, how much I like this. This just shows the extra cannon that you're skimping out on is not the reason why you're 1400. And that's something that I need to learn I still need to learn that because I'm always trying to skimp on things and I'm like, I need to get every advantage possible. If you just macro well, hit your build, that will give you so much more of an advantage. than if you skip on one cannon but you macro poorly.
Right, yeah, I definitely agree with that. ArtOfTurtle going to go ahead and chase down this Zealot. The one thing I don't like about he's got going on right now is that I think he's going to lose 2 Overlords to Corsairs, and the other thing is that he didn't have he doesn't have vision in front of Protoss' natural, so he doesn't actually know if Protoss is moving out with any more Zealots. So that can be a little tricky for Zerg. You end up in the dark. And looks like he's going to go ahead and go into a 6-hatch play. 6-hatch Hydra on 3 base, probably.
What exactly is the difference between 5-hatch and 6-hatch? Obviously, you get more Hydras on, but like, you're just sacrificing an earlier timing for a later, heavier Hydra play, and you don't transition quite as fast.
Yeah, kind of. It's like a heavy Hydra mid-game. Usually you get your 6 hatchery before you get your Hydra Den. It's kind of like the build that you see people do when they go Farnat Turtle. Usually you have to build a Sunk against a Zealot timing, but because BenElton actually bled some of his Zealots earlier, ArtOfTurtle is pretty safe just getting his 3rd hatch here. So that might also be a response. I didn't actually notice if he got it before or after he built his Hydra Den. But if they do bleed Zealots like that, I think you can just go ahead and get your third hatch at your 3rd, like another macro hatch really quickly. Build a couple extra drones, and then go into your Hydra production as usual to defend the Zealots. Something that Crossy told me recently was like, if you have an advantage, don't play aggressive. The only reason to play aggressive is to get an advantage. If you have an advantage, just build stuff.
Exactly, because the only thing, like, being aggressive adds so much variance to the game. Yeah. Being aggressive adds so much variance to the game that if you do one thing wrong, if you micro poorly on an attack, then you're just going to lose that advantage in a heartbeat. Whereas if you play defensively, the pressure is so much lower.
Okay, so we have a couple of... Okay, it looks like Warpgates is handling the questions in the Discord. Are the casters from Ash? No, we're not from Clan Ash. So both the players are from Ash, but I am Stromkarlen, I'm from IRK, and Least actually is not part of any clan. But I am a mod of, or an admin, a staff member of CPL. So that's kind of what the representation is here. And how can you join CPL? Why don't you go ahead and send me a message on Discord, Red Eyes, because I think you're coach level, so we would be very grateful to have you involved. But yeah, if you message me on Discord, I can set you up.
Yeah, if we've got any 2000s out there, please join CPL. I guarantee you, no matter how bad you think you are at coaching, the information you have is extremely valuable for the newer players.
Right. And the whole thing with coaching is like we changed it this season so that we have team admins, and it's kind of like you can put in however much effort you want to put in coaching. You're welcome to just do that as you have effort for. But as I'm saying this, we have this attack coming in on the 3rd base for BenElton. Very greedy 3rd base against this the 6-hatch play from ArtOfTurtle. I think this 3rd base should go down. I'm going to go ahead and target down the Nexus, and that is a very nice play from ArtOfTurtle, able to go ahead and deny that 3rd base with those Hydras.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that like a 4 gateway expand or something like that? Because that seemed way too early. That was like a base where a lot of times you wait until like 3rd and take that base.
Right. I mean, I think he has 5 or 6 gates. We haven't seen his main in a while. Maybe Warpgates can go ahead and show us his main. So he actually has 7 gateways. But I think it was just the fact that ArtOfTurtle's economy was so strong because of how he built his 3rd hatch and redroned before he built Hydras, because BenElton bled Zealots early on the map. So he actually had a very good economic advantage. And Protoss decided to expand into that, and the kind of the Hydra push that came out was a little bit strong.
Right.
And I think that like overall denying that third base on match point is really strong. And even so, it's still a mineral only. Like that's the one thing that Zerg kind of has going for them on this map, is that the third gas for Protoss is really hard to get, which means that kind of, we were talking about this on Tower Cross as well, any gas unit that Protoss is making is actually really precious. So like Templars, Reavers, Observers, like anything that's requiring them to spend gas, they don't have a lot of gas to spend when they're only on 2 gases. So it makes like Hydra Lurker is still really strong against 2 base Protoss because they have limited amounts of Storm.
And even on this map, you run into kind of the same problem that you do on circuit breakers a lot of times, where since your natural third base is a mineral only, it's a lot tougher to transition into that 3 gas, where it doesn't matter so much if you get your observer sniped or if you get your Templar.
Right, exactly. All right, looks like ArtOfTurtle going to go ahead and set up a lurker field on the top of this ramp here. This is another nice thing about Matchpoint, is that you can set up this push area from Protoss, and as long as you have map vision and you don't just completely miss, so they decide to go up the small ramp at your natural, this is basically where Protoss has to push, and it's like not a super easy place to push to.
Yeah, anytime the Zerg takes the high ground, it's really difficult to push up. You have to really be careful with how you engage.
All right, looks like BenElton's going to come around with his 8-gate push. ArtOfTurtle did see it leaving, but he doesn't have vision in front of the ramp of his natural, and his units are very out of position if BenElton does decide to go up that ramp. He will have to bring them back around. Oh, looks like he's going to go ahead and make a bit of a lurker wall here. Nice play. I like that. But it looks like BenElton going to go ahead and go up to the high ground, which is definitely a smart move. Like I said, the other direction doesn't really work unless Zerg is really out of position.
Oh, nice
All
storm
right.
on those 2 lurkers.
Yeah, really nice storm. All right, we have some Hydras coming forward, and the Zealots kind of just got shredded by those lurkers, which means that BenElton kind of lost his push potential a little bit because the Dragoons find it very difficult to fight against Hydra Lurker by themselves without the Zealots. And he actually lost an extra Templar there. He has, like, I think 2 Templar with his army right now. And he's trying to double expand. But I think ArtOfTurtle is actually going to bring some units around, 2 Lurkers and a Hydra around the army here to go ahead and try and deny that 4th base, which I think is a really smart play. We also saw BenElton go ahead and put down the Nexus before he put down any cannons. So he should be in a position where he can deny that base, which is going to be really strong because, like I said, the more that Zerg can keep Protoss off of 3 gases, the more that Protoss just becomes increasingly in trouble in this situation. All right, we just have these Hydras coming in after this army. Going to go ahead and probably pick off that last Templar. Protoss retreating to his high ground, but we have a flank with the Lurkers that came up to deny the 4th, and BenElton's army just melting, and GG is called. Excellent macro play by ArtOfTurtle on match point. Really taking advantage of the fact that Protoss cannot get a 3rd gas very easily here. All right. We do have Lisa's having internet issues, so I'm on my own for now. We do have our next map is going to be Fighting Spirit. So this is going to be our 8th map today for this cast. Looks like ArtOfTurtle thinks it's the last match, but I think we actually have one more map after this, don't we? Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. I guess it's going to be, I think it's 6-2 for BenElton right now. So I guess we'll have to see if he can take the last map and make it 7-2, or if we're going to see a 6-3 victory for BenElton.
I'd be real excited to see a strong showing Turtle after the way things started. Be a nice little comeback.
Yeah, I think games 3 to 6 were pretty rough for him. But he definitely he took a nice macro game on Taucross, and he took a nice macro game on Matchpoint. So we'll see how he does. On our last map for today, we do have our Protoss player BenElton, the winner of the series, and playing the honorary last map in the top right. And our Zerg player ArtOfTurtle in the magenta in the bottom right. BenElton, of course, has stuck with white for this entire series, so props on him. He just really likes white Protoss, I guess.
I guess so. And ArtOfTurtle on a random, that chaotic energy.
Yeah. I mean, Zerg players are chaotic. What can I say? I believe.
Really are. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's gonna be a quick one. He's going 9.
Oh.
Well, it could be a quick one.
Right. I like it. I'm into it.
You gotta mix it up at least once in the series. You gotta throw in something crazy.
I mean, it's kind of.
You're gonna 4-pool me. I'm gonna 9/9 gate you.
I mean, I think it's fair. Yeah. I think that it makes sense too, because the 2 macro games. This is kind of what I said at the beginning. It's if ArtOfTurtle gets into his macro game, and he's not behind from his early game, he's probably going to be in a really good position. But his early game, sometimes he just has some mistakes that make it difficult for him to get into the late game in a good position. And I think we've really seen that this series. The macro games that he's gotten into the mid game with a good economy, he's done really well.
Agreed.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to go overpool. So you can definitely hold 9/9 with overpool. But it is, of course, important to know. So he will be getting the first drone scout. But we'll see if he does the save larva trick, or he actually sends the drone all the way into the main.
Oh, that would be... Yeah, if he doesn't send the drone all the way. Such a... Especially, that would be 2 games this series where not scouting the main. And he's gonna do it. Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
I mean, it's not really that sad, though, because basically what you do is you scout all the mains for Forge Fast Expand, and if you don't see it, you just build links.
Oh.
So he's just saving larva.
I thought he was building...
Oh, he's building drones. He's not saving larva. Never mind.
RIP? Okay, yeah.
So this is really bad for Zerg. I actually don't think you can win this game now. Yeah, when you do that trick where you only scout the natural, you have to actually save your larva after you make 2 lings, because if not, stuff like this can happen to you.
Oh.
All right, he's gonna go ahead and sunk his main and take a hidden hatchery at top left. So this is basically what you have to do as Zerg in this position, when he didn't know what was going on from Protoss until too late. So now he has to try and drone drill. And the sunk is actually in a poor position to drone drill. So I don't know that he can save this. I think this game is actually just straight up lost. But we'll see how this goes. Looks like he might be able to take out both of these zealots. But he's probably going to lose the sunk in the process.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. The sunk goes down just in time as the zealot goes down. And we do see 2 more zealots blocking that so that no...
Yeah, so...
Hatchery, of course, going to be... What do you think he's going to do there? Is he just going to build up a bunch of lings and then try and...
He's going to build lings. You have to build lings against this. You can counterattack. He looks like he's going to send 2 lings into the main of Protoss. But eventually, if you build up enough extra lings from the extra hatchery, you can then bust down your ramp. He shouldn't try and bust down the ramp before he has a surround. You just have to kind of let this be. And then wait until you have the extra production from the other hatchery. Because you're actually, Tim mentioned this when we were, when he went over the match with with Ashen, the Ashen Bojack match. Okay, that wasn't a very good trade for ArtOfTurtle. The important thing is that you're behind on production until you get the second hatchery up. So until you get the second hatchery up, you have to be very careful with your lings. Alright, looks like he's going to get some lings out and go ahead and try and take down the pylon in the center. If he manages to get rid of the pylon, then Protoss's production is actually halted. So that's kind of a mistake from Protoss, letting that pylon go down. And then looks like he's going to go ahead and try and counterattack the main of Protoss. There is a cannon in a very good position. So I actually think that it would be a smarter decision to send those lings down and try and break the zealots at his natural. We see he's kind of attacking into them on the ramp without the surround, but the real advantage of having a hatch somewhere on the map is being able to actually surround these zealots and kill them efficiently as Zerg.
And BenElton with such a good concave at the bottom of the ramp with his zealots. So those trading even less efficiently than they normally would when they have 2 zealots on the ramp. He basically had 3 zealots with equivalent. Oh, he sees the hatchery as well. Let's see if he's able to go take that out. Well, he can't really because he has no production. But
right. If ArtOfTurtle actually takes advantage of his ling advantage, of his unit advantage, he can deal with this. But he made a mistake there. He took out the pylon, so he knows Protoss can't make any more zealots. And then he went and tried to counterattack the main, which he's already done. So you know that Protoss should be ready for that. Instead of the fact where he knew that Protoss only had 4 zealots on the map, and he had an opportunity to actually just straight up outproduce Protoss, and just kill all of the units that Protoss had on the map. So I actually think that might have been the losing move in this game, which is really unfortunate because he kind of had an incorrect response that should have cost him the game, and then he got the pylon. Yeah, GG is called. So the final score overall is going to be 7-2 for BenElton. But yeah, he definitely made an incorrect response, and then he made a really good response, and then he snuck lings out and got the cannon, and then he halted Protoss's production, and then he didn't use the opportunity to reset the unit count for Protoss and then take his production advantage. So definitely a tricky build to play against as far as proxy 2-gate goes. Definitely very annoying and very strong at lower levels. So yeah, there are lots of different responses you can take by Zerg. So congratulations to BenElton. Overall, he is our series winner here today. 7-2 victory over ArtOfTurtle. Very strong showing from him. I actually think that his PvZ looks a lot stronger than it did against Chava, or aka DM Keen. So I think he's been practicing up. So definitely good to see some CPL players using the opportunity to play in CPL to improve. But we can't actually get him on here for a winner's interview because he doesn't have a mic. So unfortunately, we don't get to hear from BenElton today. But I'd like to offer big congratulations to him. I thought he had a very strong showing. And it's really good to see him take some wins in PvZ, seeing as how he lost his other PvZ match against Keen. So congratulations to him. And sorry guys about the audio. I think Lee's internet cut out, so he's casting from his phone right now. So who has the bad audio now, huh?
The big regrets. I don't know how you do this. Casting from my phone, I couldn't even see the supply. I couldn't see the bottom half of the mini map. This was brutal. So,
yeah.
Mad respect to Strom for doing that for the first 7 apocalypse until we got her.
Yeah. Guys, I casted 7 or 8 of these from my phone. So if you go back to the old apocalypse matches with all the pixelated quality and stuff, yeah, I'm casting from my phone. It's great. So Lee's trying to do that as well, but his internet cut out on him. So hopefully we won't have this problem in the future. But I'd just like to take this chance to give a huge thank you to everyone who tuned in today. I really appreciate your guys' support and continued support as we have kept doing these apocalypse matches. If you guys have matchups that you want to see, before the CPL season ends, so we're probably not going to do these between 2 seasons, we'll probably figure out some other show match to cast. So we have only a couple, like 3 to 4 weeks of these Apocalypse matches left. So if there is a matchup that you want to see, go ahead and message me on Discord. Or if you have other feedback about CPL or anything, my DMs are always open. Go ahead and shoot me a message. I do a lot of the like extra content production for CPL. That's kind of my job on staff. So all of the like external events and masterclasses and stuff, I take it upon myself to organize those up. But yeah, congratulations to BenElton, and good try for ArtOfTurtle. He had the couple games that he won looked very strong on his side. And I think if he I don't know. I feel like he's a very strong Zerg player in general, and I want to wish him luck on our behalf in the BSL 9 round of 8 Chobo League.
Yeah, didn't he win Chobo League a couple years ago, or he was a runner-up? So
he was a runner-up.
Blood yet again.
Yeah. He was a runner-up. Him and Father, both runner-up of Chobo League.
All right. Well, make sure you guys tune into that. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. We couldn't do this without your guys' support. So glad that you guys are enjoying it. Make sure you tune in this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, right?
Yeah, so a week from today, 1 p.m. EDT, we have IRK MWK up against Mars from Clan Nass. And that's a PvT, and that's our next Apocalypse match so far. Might try and sneak another one in on Tuesday. Not sure yet. Stay tuned.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next.